so it's the pros and cons.
Zdorowo, braton. Opa, opa, dawaj. Uda ci tebe. No?
Okay. Yep, just should be good stream today.
Okay, so just Victor, so they start whenever they see picture?
Alright. Straight into the action, Mr. Lou.
Yep.
Alright, guys, so sorry for it. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. We're just trying to fix the audio. There was an inexplainable little buzz, and we don't want you guys to go deaf, but we sorted it out now, so we're going to jump straight into the action. And this is, of course, day 1B of the Triton series, 100K Hong Kong dollar. And we got a lot of familiar faces at the table. Going to do some catching up for you guys. Again, thank you for your patience, though. Like Randy said, it's quality over quantity.
Quality
guys.
over quantity, guys. We're gonna have with a lot of players in this pot. It's a 7-way pot, post flop. A lot of new players will be playing that you've maybe know or not know. Some of these guys played yesterday's day 1A. They're also playing day 1B today.
Oh my god, I missed the Chinese rap, or the Korean rap.
Yeah,
sorry. Somebody, I just read the chat, I know it's Korean, right? No.
I think it's Chinese.
Oh, okay, never mind, I'll stop talking.
Yeah. Yeah, stick to the short deck.
Yeah, because I'm so good at that. Alright, so I just saw Peter Jedden. He was in Montenegro as well, wasn't he?
Peter Jen was in Montenegro. He final tabled one of the big events. Can't remember which one exactly.
Nice life. It's a lot of like some old school American tournament players as well. You know, Alan Sass also a little bit more old school. We saw him yesterday at a great last few levels. Last 5 hands of the day, he pretty much became second in chips after Chow.
That's Peter Jetton that we're talking about right now.
Oh, hello. Nick Schulman.
It's Nick Schulman.
One of the most famous voices in poker right now.
But is he a famous short deck player? I don't know. This
this
might be his
guy-
first shot at it.
This guy is so good at poker. I'm like an eternal Nick Schulman fan. Like whenever I started playing penny tables, he always had a Batman avatar online.
I see.
And he was always sitting 100, 200 limit with 100K stack. And he would just boss it around. And then he played his live tournament. He won a WPT straight off the bat. So
Yeah.
I've been a Nick Schulman fan my whole life, pretty much.
So he just sits at limit hold'em tables, you mean, and just like has too many blinds, basically. Just
Yeah, but he crushed it too.
Of
So
course, of
that's where he
course.
made his money. So you know, it's kind of like intimidating, right? And it would be very active in the chat and stuff. It would be very fun to watch.
Alright, so onto this hand. Ivan Leo is raising up with 10-7 offsuit. This is actually one of the worst hands probably in the game. But he's trying to punish these limpers right now.
That's pretty crazy. Like to pick such a bad hand to punish limpers with, right? Because limping happens a lot.
Well, look at this. Showman called was Queen 10 offsuit. Badziakowski folds King Queen offsuit, which is the
Wow.
better hand. And we'll see what Jeton does with Ace 8 suited. It's 16,000 more to him.
I played with Jeton in the past in some higher stakes games. Definitely not afraid to do some 3, 4, 5 bet rumbling pre-flop.
So we're going to go 3-way to the flop. No one has anything, so if Ivan stabs here with his pair of 7s, he should win this pot.
Yeah, I think it's a mandatory bet. Oh wow, he shoves all in.
Well, I guess he doesn't have too much chips remaining. He's just like,
That's
well,
true.
if I bet,
I'll
I'm pretty
bet,
much
yeah.
committing anyways.
Which makes his pre-flop raise even crazier.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people, it's not like he can put a lot of big stack pressure on people where they think, oh, I might get in a really tough spot later on in the hand.
I think he just said ace ace when he took it down.
I like it.
The good thing though, actually, about shoving, if he feels like he's gonna call whatever shove anyways with bet, is that occasionally you get better hands to fold, like I don't know, pocket 8s or pocket 9s, right?
That's true. Yeah, you should definitely get a lot of folds from 9s there.
Maybe he's also setting the tone too. Like if say he gets called and he has, whether he gets called or not, if they're watching the stream later, they'll see that he's making such an aggressive play with not a strong holding. They might call him down lighter when he's just like, okay, just kidding, I'm gonna adjust now.
I think Leo has been working that strat for months now.
Yes.
Because he's so aggro, you
He's
know?
waiting for it. Been waiting, but you know, he does pretty good.
He's fun to watch for sure. Lots of interesting situation with him happening yesterday as well. When we saw like some highlights from the outer table, he was in like 3 out of 4 of them.
So Chong is limping pocket kings in early position, hoping someone would raise, but no one's taking the bait.
Chong misread his hand yesterday in an 800k pot. He thought he had a full house, but he had a pair.
Yeah, he just had a pair of 10s, right?
So
now he's back in it.
I mean, I'm laughing because it was just a funny. His reaction to it was very funny. He was just like, "Oh, okay, I just misread my hand. It's all good." Just laughing.
Yeah, no
Stayed
big
at the
deal.
table. Yeah,
Just 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. I'll
Yeah.
just put another one in.
that's all good.
So now we got this 5-way flop here. Chong's got pocket kings, but he's been outflopped by Potashnik. Jeton has an open-ended straight draw. Potashnik, he's got 2 pair. Looks like he's just gonna call here.
Man, 2-pair plays so awkwardly in this game.
Yeah, if it's not top 2 pair, it's like play cautiously a lot of times.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing Potashnik do right here.
I think what might be reasonably viable if you have top and bottom pair, if you just go for it, just protect your equity. All right, just overbetting all in on flops, even leading, you know.
I think there's nothing wrong with that, especially the shorter stack you are, which I think their stacks are relatively short right now. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like if you're like playing like 50 antes deep, it's like maybe I'm burning
That's true.
some
Yeah.
chips a bit.
Because people can pretty much play perfectly against you.
So the turn was a jack. It checked around. Everyone is not really comfortable with that turn card, so they're just like, huh, hopefully get a free card. Chong now makes the nut straight. He's got the best hand. He's just trying to get called by anything.
So hard to go called light here.
It's very, very hard. So quick folds from his 2 opponents wins that pot.
Somebody just offered me $20 if I punch you in the nuts. So, I'm sorry.
All right, so here is the 2 tables out there. Chio is the chip leader of the Day 1 B right now. Ben Lam is back in the tournament. Some other new players, new names.
Doesn't work at the moment.
Oh, it doesn't.
Jeton is the table chip leader of Table Blue.
Really cool that Jeton's playing again. Yes. Yes. Oh, here we go.
刘已经约了好几次，既然这一次又要被你们放鸽子，借口太多，一次又一次。你们不是忘了就说是有事，冀州之行我们真的可以考虑。行程方面没有太多的琐事，趁着年轻应该多看看风景。美好的时光不等人，会很快流逝。我特别想去冀州，想炸鸡啤酒。神话世界说走就走，不用考虑太久。赢了送机票，价格 perfect 完美，不仅免签，还有很多优惠。套路烂借口全部都得靠边，这里拥有美食变形金刚各种乐园，冀州神话世界等着我们发现，几周后在冀州见，别被别人抢先。
Outer table that happened at the same time. So Triton just stabs out there mid pair, and Lamb calls with his gut shot.
That is a gut shot as well. Remember, guys, the ace 6, 7, 8, 9 makes a straight.
I know a lot of people are like, this guy's just floating with 9 high right. I know.
Yeah.
This is short deck, so the rules are changed a bit. Triton actually makes his. Lamb makes his straight.
Gut shots are so strong in this game.
Yeah, you should be chasing your gut shots a lot more than in No Limit Hold'em in this game.
27% against the top pair type hand, so.
So Lamb bets about half of the pot.
Can you please your cards in here?
Yeah.
He doesn't think his opponents are that strong post flop, so that's why he's opting for a smaller sizing. Jen only has 34k behind.
Oh, this is such a tough spot for him.
He makes the call, wants to see a river card.
Oh man.
That counterfeits him. Actually saves him, I think.
I really want to see like people if they're deep in this spot and F King Queen. I think there might become like a meta game where people just go all in for like 4 times pot. I think a Gabe Pekorski would do something like that.
Yeah, I think
that's
Gabe or like Wai Kin Yong would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That'd
now
be a
in
cool
this
bluff
spot,
spot.
like how is he ahead here? He doesn't really beat
Yeah, he only
anything.
beats
Only hands that turn
Jack
like
9.
a Queen Jack that maybe turn into a bluff for some reason.
Yeah.
Queen 10.
Jack 9 doesn't stick around on the flop, so
Yeah,
let's be fair.
it's probably gonna lay this one down.
Oh, nice.
So here are some new players you guys haven't seen. Chio. He's got the 10-8 offsuit. We got Trencher. I think he's new to the Triton series as well.
Really good flop for Queen Jack here. Does miss some 10s though.
Yeah, in this game you're often sharing your opponent's cards.
Yeah.
If you make a hand, that actually probably makes your opponent like a draw.
And we can see that he has decent equity. He has 37% to win the pot, but The problem is that if he wins a queen or a jack, he's not expecting to be good all that often. So, and also if there's a queen or a jack, that really might make bad bluff at it because he has really strong blockers. Wow, just straight up folds.
Well, something to keep in mind is that they didn't have too much stack to play behind, so it's a little bit harder to chase your draws. Or if say you go all in, he's got ace king, you're like, ah, because you don't have that much fold equity.
Yeah. Man, there should I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic with gut shots because, like, a straight draw you can just shove for value, right? An open-ended straight draw.
Yep.
So what becomes a new semi-bluff is gut shots.
Yeah.
Pretty similar equity.
Yeah, I would say gut shots are the most likely hand people are bluffing with. This is Richard Young, seat number 1.
Good to see him join the action today.
Young got a decent amount of chips. Okay, on to the next hand, guys.
That was probably the best fold of the tournament.
Call.
So Lamb with Jack 10 of clubs in the cutoff. He was told that Jack 10 is the nuts, so he's going to practically shove all in. He's going to get the best hand to fold, ace queen.
It's not that much that money out there.
Well, when you're told Jack 10's the nuts,
yeah,
shoving can never be like too wrong, really.
True.
Looks like everyone's just going to fold.
But don't you need some raising hands that are really strong that are not like aces and kings?
Yeah, I agree. I think
Jack 10 probably plays a little bit better than ace queen.
it probably does.
Tell me.
It's tricky. It's like, you know, sometimes you have these hands where you're like, it could play post flop, but I don't mind just shoving all in pre flop because I know it's a plus CV shove.
Yeah.
Like pocket sixes, for example, and no limit hold'em. You're on the button, you have like 15, 20 big blinds. Like you could play post flop, but just going all in might be a little bit simpler.
Yeah.
So maybe something quite set. So Lamb's been playing his gut shots quite aggressively, always been betting at him, so he does in this situation. But Young is not going to give up his top pair weak kicker.
Young has a lot of experience playing this game as well.
Turns a queen. If Lamb could fire again, it should get Young very worried.
Ooh. Look at Lamb go.
Wow, that's a pot-sized shove, roughly. And Young really only beats a big bluff.
Yeah.
And a really nice play.
Yeah, Ben really picking up the game quickly yesterday, and we see it in this one too. Alright, so back to the live action. Somebody asking in the chat if Nick Schulman is there. Yes, he's actually on our featured table here. Playing a lot of poker over the summer. I'm gonna guess that he's been giving this game quite some thought. He's an amazing mixed game player.
Yeah, most of the time people, they don't have any experience playing it, but they've like probably studied the past series, probably studied yesterday as well. It's like, okay, I've got my game plan. This is, if I get dealt these hands pre-flop, I'm gonna limp some of these hands and limp shove and all these different strategies, and just use practice makes perfect. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
And they might have a pretty good idea of what to do in a lot of situations, but there's going to be some curveballs that get thrown, like, oh, the random check raises or things like that. And then that's when the experience is going to come in. Players like Richard Young, who's been playing this a lot, you know, and it helps if you played the last series in Montenegro, like Makita, they're going to be much more experienced as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I also think that Triton is a really cool introduction for a lot of pros to what actually goes down in Chinese scene if they never played with them.
Yep.
So I think that a lot of people watched like the last Triton broadcast, you know, from the pros.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's a really good introduction as well. And like you said, you can do some studying.
So it looks like we got a 5-way limp pot here. Chong looks like he's got the prettiest looking hand. King, queen of clubs.
Right, it's a really coordinated board, as is any board in this game. Leo with a really strong hand here. He's open-ended, which is amazing. 2 queens dead though. 2 queens dead, spade not really safe. Of course he doesn't know that 2 queens are dead. Chong with the best of it, very confidently betting. I mean, this was 5 or 6 way to the flop, so always have to be a little bit worried about your top pair queen kicker, but I mean, it's a pretty hard brick on the turn. It's about as blank as it can get.
Ivan's got a double gutter. He's going to come along. He's got 25% chance to win this pot.
This might be an interesting bluffing card for him.
This is a bad card for Chong. It makes hands like queen 10, you know, ace, X of spades.
This is really a situation though where there's not a single good card for him except the king.
Yeah.
Which is
so a nice shove from
really
Ivan
nice.
Leo. We've been saying this guy is aggressive. The board has run out perfectly for him. See, even though he calls the turn, and you're like, well, if he doesn't make his hand, he loses the pot. No, there's some bad cards like an ace that can win him the pot too, as long as Chong checks to him.
Yeah.
And being in position is so important because you get to see your opponent whether they like it or not, and then you can decide to bluff or not, right?
Yeah.
Like if he got shoved into it, it's like, well, I'm just gonna fold.
Yeah. And especially in this game, that's a really good point because in this game there's so many scare cards.
Yes.
So people are gonna check to you on a lot of rivers, which, you know, with a hand like King Queen here, that's in a multi-way pot. If you know you're gonna be in trouble on the turn of the river, you really have to ask yourself a lot. Do I really want to inflate this pot? You know, maybe use some hands to bluff catch with on later streets, but this is a very typical situation for a game like short deck. Where you're like, okay, I feel pretty good. Okay, that's a blank. Okay, what do I do now?
Yeah, I think it's good to plan ahead in this game a lot. I mean, I think some of the players we saw the other day, they realized that on the river, there's tough. Oh, wow, nice call.
Whoa. That's insane.
That's a very nice call by Chong.
How does it make you feel? Wow, that was a really good bluff.
It was a good bluff and a good call.
Yeah, that's a pretty amazing call.
Yeah. That is not an easy call. I probably would have insta-pitched. Oh, yeah, you got it, right?
Yeah, I don't even want to deal with this headache. I fold. Wow,
Chong,
debated.
yeah. I mean, yesterday he built a big stack, didn't make it to the end, but today it's a new day. So Chong's got 306,000 chips.
Must feel pretty good. We saw everyone, most of the people starting with 100,000 today again.
Yeah, he still has his bullet tickets behind him. Each of those bullet tickets are worth 100,000 chips each. This is unlimited re-entry. Day 1B, tomorrow we'll play down to a winner, combining the 4 players that made it through on day 1A.
Such a crazy amount of action yesterday.
I believe the chip leader from yesterday ended with about 1.9 million chips.
Yeah, I think Chow and Sass were both very close to the 2 million mark.
Yeah, very close. So we got a couple limps here. Badziakowski, he's got 82,000 with King Jack offsuit. Trying to decide if he should shove or not. He's just gonna call as well. And we're gonna have a 6-way pot here. In games like No Limit Hold'em, usually you're playing heads-up pots or 3-way. In this game, you need to learn how to play 4, 5, 6-way pots.
Yeah.
And if you're not comfortable with that, it gets quite tricky. You need to understand that someone usually will have some kind of piece, but it doesn't mean that they won't fold it.
Yeah. Because they think the same about you.
Correct. So Badziakowski has the best flush draw with the Jack of Hearts. The best absolute hand would be Jetton, but he's only got 13% with Ace Jack. Looks like Chong is the one betting. He's got an inside straight draw. He needs to hit a 9 to make a straight. I know people are gonna be like, what are you talking about, Nano?
What are you doing?
Can you explain to them one more time? Gosh. So Badziakowski here, King Jack. He's gonna play it slow. Turn is a 10. Doesn't really change too much. I want to point out that the best absolute hand on the flop was Ace Jack by Jetton, but he's actually out of the pot now. One of the things to point out during 6-way pots, when someone bets, your top pair doesn't feel too great. Look at this, he's betting again.
It's a pretty reasonable card for the aggressor to bet again.
Yeah. You gotta remember, Chong was on dealer button, so he can have any 2 cards right now. He could have like a 6-9 of hearts, a hand
That's
that
true, yeah.
someone wouldn't play normally. He could easily flop a flush here.
I really like this aggression. It's really good in ante games.
So Badziakowski here, he needs to also be worried that, what if my opponent has like King Queen with the Queen of Hearts? I'm like practically drawing dead.
Yeah. Yeah, then you'll be drawing dead or you're not going to make money.
So it's a tough spot for Badziakowski. The good news for him is that he doesn't have that many chips behind, so he can't, if he's making a mistake, it wouldn't be a big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
He's all in.
Wow.
And a quick fold from Chong.
Great move. It's very short too.
Hey guys, did any of you order Starbucks? I can't remember who ordered it. Cafe Mocha Frappuccino?
Ice mocha.
There's a Starbucks order at the table.
Ice Mocha? You ordered it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
So Nikita Badziakowski busted yesterday during the last 5 hands. I think it might have been actually the final hand of yesterday. So that's why he's playing again today for another 100,000 Hong Kong dollar buy-in.
One more? Yeah, one more.
It's so tilting to bust on a last. Because you know that even if you make a short stack and you go into day 2, you can spin it up so easily in this game.
Yep.
So it's actually like, I don't really agree with the sentiment in this game of, you know, I don't have a big stack, I'm going to go for it. Because going through a whole nother day of this high variance, that's brutal.
Yeah. You know, some of these guys, though, they're such big high rollers. They're like, you know what? I got unlimited bankroll. Let me just keep popping in. I want to get the final table. So Chong is playing very aggressively today. Pocket 9s. This is not a normal raise by most players.
Yeah, a lot of people live the pocket pairs, right?
So it looks like Yu has called with Jack 10 offsuit. Flops a double gutter. This is the problem with pocket 9s is you just get flops like this all day. And if you get action post flop, He actually has 37% chance to win the spot, if you see, even though his opponent is unpaired.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think he's gonna see another check raise all in here.
Well, he is going to take a stab here.
35k, it seems.
35.
So he's just trying to move his opponent off of like a very weak pair, maybe like a pocket tens, pocket jacks, maybe like a queen 10.
Hello.
So he's going to shove, and Chong, after bluffing that last hand, is now like, man, am I committed here? Given the pot size, he should be making his call, but usually his opponent has a made hand. Looks like he's
usually not looking too great in this spot.
Yeah, he's looking at his pot odds, trying to decide if he should be calling here.
It's pretty tilting to get called in this spot when you have Jack 10.
Yeah. I think you actually did not expect his opponent to actually fold too often. But he's going to lay it down, and that's a nice pickup of Jack 10 offsuit. Some people might think, oh, well, if my opponent looks so pot committed, I'm just going to call this flop and see if I hit. But actually shoving here, even though he didn't have that many chips, that many more chips than his opponent, actually won him the pot as a semi-bluff.
And I think that in regular no limit hold'em, you could also choose to just lead out all in, but now you're almost slow playing your straight draw because it's so powerful.
Yeah. So Chong here, he's still the table chip leader despite losing about 100,000 chips these last two hands combined. Showman is the table short stack.
I'm trying to figure out how many antes is considered short stack. I would say 30 to 40 antes.
That's like a, I want to say it's like a kind of like having like 30 big blinds and or like 27, 28 big blinds and like no limit hold'em, you know? So you're not like forced to shove all in every time with 30 NTs.
But you pick up a lot more than you would in hold'em with those stacks. Like in
is
hold'em
true.
you would pick like up to big blinds. And here you pick up like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I
Antes
think if you have like 20 antes, you're almost like usually just shoving in general pre-flop.
We'll see. There we go.
So Showman here has like 15 antes.
Yeah.
I mean 15 of the button ante.
Yeah.
So he shoves ace jack. Jet in here of ace 8 offsuit. He's gonna lay it down. Ivan ace jack. You know, he's going to pitch it, looks like. It's a close spot.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. When you get your opponent to fold the same exact hand, you're winning.
It's funny how ace jack is still a high card hand, but it's so much stronger than no limit hold'em.
Yeah, ace jack in this game is really like a short stack play, you know? Like when you're a big stack, you're like, I don't really like ace jack. You're just using the kind of the blockers a little bit to kind of win these little pots.
Yeah, you really want to be the aggressor with the hand. I mean, I had like queen 10 we saw yesterday, right? What does queen 10 have? Like 48% or something?
If you, I think what I've seen is that if you're not dominated by your opponent, usually you're like flipping. So like ace jack versus queen 10 probably like 48, 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very funny game. It's like you're always sharing cards with your opponents. You have each other's outs. No one really whiffs the flop too much in this game. Like in no limit hold'em, like people can have like 5-4 suited on ace king queen.
Yeah.
And here it's just like the equivalent would be like pocket sixes.
Yeah.
But that's
true,
not very many hands.
Yeah. I think that's planning turns and rivers, like strategize in a way where you get in a good spot for those is key here.
So Potashnik is the one to flop best here. He checks it back on the dealer button. Queen is pretty scary, but no one actually has it. And Chong is the one firing. Today is a new day for Chong.
Yeah, today, he watched back some footage. He's like, if I go all in, at least I won't be misreading my hand.
So he got his opponent, Boltashnik, to fold top pair, jack kicker. Nice aggression. See, even though your opponents have pairs, you can still get them to fold as long as like scary cards like trips come out.
I think that you can do a lot by stabbing into multi-way pots if you're in position.
Yeah, when I first commentated on this game, I was thinking, man, I really can't. Can I ever stab on any board if someone else has a piece? But then I started to realize that these good players are folding pairs, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But it made me think about the game differently rather quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you kind of go with what you know from your experience in No Limit Hold'em, but there's usually the wrong way to learn a game like that. It's you see people that try to learn Pot Limit Omaha as well. You know, they stick to theorems like, oh, I got to check to the razor. Whereas in PLO, you know, you have to lead out at a board a lot. It's really good to kind of look at that from a new perspective and think what would be good in this game.
Yep. Yeah. I like the different kind of styles you can do as well. I think this game has there's definitely a lot of room for different strategies, I think.
Yeah.
I like to see these new players come in that we haven't seen before, like Shulman, because I think they might have some secret weapon, you know, and I think we're gonna hopefully see something.
Yeah, they all have an insane poker mind. I mean, we can see like really cool adjustments from Van Lam, Steven Chitwick yesterday trying out some stuff, and I get to watch Nick Shulman now.
So Jenton has limped Ace King. He's got a multi-way pot. He's got a great. Shulman's actually has a pretty good hand here. 8-6 of clubs. Pair and a flush draw. He's trying to decide, should he shove all in here, try to get a better hand to fold. He's got 68,000 remaining. So he's just gonna call. He's got top two pair. You know, when you're jetting the spot, you bet the flop, you get called. Usually, you need to start putting your opponents on what kind of cards they could have. What do you think? Like Queen Jack, Ace 10, King Queen. These are the type of hands you want to get value from. They're usually just going to check it back on a turn. So you got to keep betting. Don't let your opponent check it back.
Yep. You really need to get some value while you're ahead in the hand here. The percentages look great. You know, you have to really look at it like a stock. You know, invest some money when it's looking good. But, you know, don't try to go too weak like we saw with the King-Queen hand earlier, because then you're going to get in some trouble. But with this hand, you can comfortably bluff call a lot of rivers.
Showman lays down his pair of sixes and flush draw.
It's interesting too, if the turn is a jack there and you have the six with a flush draw, it would be a pretty cool card to just fire at it.
Yeah, I agree.
So much less likely that somebody has a full house or ace jack hand there. Well, that would be a full house, but you know what I mean. People aren't very likely to bet middle pair. That's usually a hand that gets checked around a lot. But, you know, maybe you can start if you have, let's say you have jack 10 on ace jack 6 and it's multi-way. So much less likely that somebody has a set or two pair. It's a really important blocker to have, I think, in this game.
That's a very good point. And you can actually, if you're willing to fire multiple barrels, you can probably get ace queen to fold to post flop.
You see a lot of people just pick off one street with top pair and then, you know, reconsidering the turn. And then there's a lot of turns that are good for you too. Like a queen or a king gives you a gut shot, which is really powerful.
I like to think, like, if I'm going to play these games, I want to kind of watch how the general table is playing and then try to figure out how can I create a strategy that gives me a little bit of an edge So you can pick up some extra chips. So
Yeah.
in that, like what you said is like, oh, well, I noticed that people kind of only put in one bet in with top pair, right? And I'm like, maybe I'm going to press 2 bets and a little bit more.
Yeah.
So Showman lays down his hand. So Badzikowski calls with 9-7 offsuit. He's got position, hoping for a low flop.
All in.
So it's all in, should be a fold.
And I really like that move. I think that protecting is really important. Especially, I mean, flush draws are pretty uncommon, but if there's a flush draw out there, it's still a little bit extra, you know, a little bit extra where you don't want to slow play against. And look at all the gutters that are there on ace queen 9. You have to be really careful by if you bet 1/3 pop, people are like, okay, thank you, I call.
咁你咪聽日打成8、9個人？
6、7、8、9個，都係4。
So again, today is day 1B in this $100,000 Hong Kong buy-in. That's about 12,700 USD. The remaining players will combine with the 4 that got through on day 1A and will play down to a winner tomorrow. So Showman's shoving ace-8 offsuit. He's in the hijack.
Jump in, Doc.
It's reasonably loose, right?
Let's say it's reasonably loose. But he doesn't have that many antes too. He's just hoping to pick it up. We'll see if he gets Chong to fold ace-8 suited, and this will definitely pay off.
I think with the weaker unsuited aces, it might be that the shorter you get, the more it becomes a fold because people are just gonna call you with like 10-8.
Yeah.
And you don't really do great against those hands. Obviously, in this case, he dominates the 8, but you know what I mean? Like, if somebody with 9-7 is going to call you because you only have 6 antes and you're just flipping, then, you know.
There is incentive, though, since the antes are bigger in general, that if you can get away with a shove and it works, you increase your stack by
that's true.
a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even if you get called and you're flipping a lot, there's still so much debt money. That's very true. It's a high variance game anyway. This must be crazy when you're on the bubble, by the way, this game.
Yeah.
This, you could steamroll when you have a big stack. Because you really do need a lot better hands to enter the pot when it's near the money.
And some of these loose calls that you may see now just won't be calls anymore. People will just be folding them.
Yeah.
Badzikowski of ace king of clubs. I was going to say, is he going to raise or shove all in? He's opting to go to shove strategy. We've seen players do both options.
Yeah.
119. 119.
And a spite call in 3, 2, 1. Oh. It's actually 41%. Giero's asking if you can't double rebuy. You can use your 3 rebuy plex or your 3 100K cards at any given time. So once you bought in for $12,500, 100K Hong Kong, you get the 3 cards. You can start with 300K or 100K or with 200 and leave 1 behind.
Yep.
You can even, if there's a lot of action at the table, or there's some people you want to cover because you know they make mistakes, big stack, you can add them later on. Even if you only started with 100s. And you can also wait till you bust your first card and then enter another one or enter 2 at the same time. So there's a lot of options there. Generally, people just go for 1. It's the better strategy usually because 100K stack has more than 3 times the value of a 300K stack.
Yes, that sounds very smart.
Relatively. Yes.
No, but it's true. Also, when you're at a short stack, you don't have to worry about getting blown off of your hands post flop, like because you don't have many chips remaining. But if you're playing really deep stack, like people can really put some pressure on your like ace king on ace high boards where you might have to you might feel like you end up folding.
True.
So you make a lot less mistakes when you're the short stack as well.
Yeah, what I meant to say was that 300k stacks have more value than one 300k stack.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to say. So.
I understood you, Lex.
Yeah, I know. Just there's always gonna be some chaperone saying that's not correct.
So Jetton's shoving his queens. So the trend so far at this table has been if you pick up a premium rather than raising, or like kind of like raising smaller, just shove in with your equity and close out people out of the pots.
Yeah. It's funny how that can be contagious at a table as well.
Yeah.
Where people follow the same pattern. You even see like if there's one aggressive player at the table, like some people raise like 500 to 500, and an aggressive player starts making it like 450 or 600. People kind of start following the trend.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Just make sure you're the first one to set the tone so you get the rules right for you.
Just make it like open one hand and just go 5 times the big blind, and then watch people punt all day. Punter. So Chong slowed a little bit down after that explosive start. That's a pretty loose limp.
I think when you're playing against a player like Ivan behind you, limping with weak hands isn't as great because he will raise.
Oof.
So you're just looking to probably hit some clubs. The good thing is when you're holding a 7, it's very unlikely someone else is holding a 7.
That's true. That's true. Card removal factors play into effect there. Which is why 6-7 or 7-8 can definitely work out sometimes.
So it looks like Potashnik is flopped best with top 2 pair. With his stack size, I expect him to want to protect his hand. Unless Ivan wants to go after it. He was a pre-flop raiser. So he does shove.
Yeah. Just to highlight to you guys, a6 would be a straight on this board. Don't forget that.
I didn't see that one. Nice one, Lex. Potashnik, he's got top 2 pair and 77. He is a bit worried that someone has a hand like 10-jack because it's such a multi-way. He lays it down.
Wow.
I think that's a bit tight given
That is
the amount of chips he has. So Ivan, he's going to be able to pick this one up with his pure aggression on a very, very connected board.
Yeah.
A board where someone can easily have like a 10-9 or Jack-10 that's just not going to fold.
It's so crazy too, because if he would know that, if he would see that somebody has 9-8, he's not going to do it. You know,
Yes.
that's how that just kind of illustrates that it's a little bit of a tighter
Good
fold.
bluff.
15 each.
Nothing to do.
Standard for Ivan.
Yeah.
Just another day in the office. The blinds are 3,000 ante, button ante is double that, so 6,000.
Amark says this game is bingo. This is actually something that you read that people say a lot about Parliament and Omaha as well, but it might seem that way, but then if you look at the winning players, they'll always be the ones that have 60-40, 55-45 way more often, which is going to result in a win. So just the fact that everything is close to a flip or people all in a lot doesn't mean that it's a bingo game. There's still a lot of strategy behind it.
Well, in Montenegro, the best players were the one with shipping the tournaments. Phil Ivey, he won one of the short deck events, as well as Jason Kuhn. So definitely a lot of skill in here.
Yeah. Chong flops trips here.
Chong getting a little bit tricky. There's not too many draws out there, so it is safer to slow play this type of board. But Jen's the one betting. Jen just hoping no one has a 10 in their hand.
It's a really strong hand to use for this move because it's also less likely that somebody has 9-7 or 7-8 that they can peel you with. And even if they have 9-8, you'll just make a boat, right? If they make a straight. So it's a good hand to pick with to just bet out here.
You will see people bet their blockers a lot of time.
Yeah.
So Jen here on the turn king needs to decide what kind of hand does Chong check call to flop with. He decides it's a big hand, so he's checking the turn.
Yeah, nice read.
He's got 7 high. So Chong needs to decide, can I bet and get called by a worse hand, or should I check and try to get my opponent to bluff? And that's a nice check there.
Yeah, I really
recognizing
like
that his opponent just can't really call if worse. So Jen's got 7 high. Jen's probably thinking, okay, does my opponent occasionally have like jacks and queens?
Yeah.
Something. These are type of hands I expect to consider a fold on the river. He's gonna go for it.
He's gonna try and get rid of a 6, I think, with the sizing, 35 thousandths. 6 with a higher kicker. Then his 7. Well played.
So Chong wins that pot. Ivan actually had to read. He said, "Do you have jacks?" To Chong's like, that's what, the type of hands Jen is trying to get the fold. But Chong's a little bit too tricky for that.
好多輸好多牌啊！我一打人哋推我咪死，點走啊？call 得咯，係嘛？即係分析啊嚇，我覺得我即係
打 river
要打啊！
見仁見智咯。
哇，好多牌
Well, I
啊！
guess it's
我覺
understand
得
in the chat as well. If you're watching that, a hand like 9-8 on 9-8-7 is so much less strong in short deck than it would be in no limit hold'em. So here we see it. Nice Chong mixing it up. Calling with ace. It's very important that you limp some of your big hands like we saw yesterday and we talked about because, you know, because you get such good odds, you're going to limp with a lot of weaker hands as well. It's important to mix in some strong hands like aces and kings, maybe even some ace-king in there, so that you can punish people trying to raise you out of the pot. Because if you're just going to play this face up, limp with all your weaker hands and raise your strong hands, pretty much every time you just flat call the bigger ante, people can put pressure on you and make you fold your weaker hands.
Showman's got Jack-9 suited. Come on for a call.
Seems like Showman has a pretty good idea of the hands that have strong.
Does have strong equity. Just pretty much going to commit himself if he flops anything.
He's a favorite pre-flop. You see that?
He's a favorite pre-flop. That's
He's
pretty
a favorite
funny.
against aces. That's crazy.
Well, Chong has set the trap. I like this limp shove here.
Yeah, really good.
His opponents don't have anything left. He's going to get committed.
That is so crazy that he's a favorite there. I think Potashnik could also opted to just go all in himself.
Well, Showman's getting ready to use his bullet ticket. Look out, leave him down.
Yeah.
Don't concede until you lose.
Yeah.
That is
there you
why.
go. That's why.
That's what you said, right?
Put your cards back.
There's one single ace in the deck. Now, he needs that ace in order to knock out Showman.
Nice.
我推。
I mean, Chong played that hand perfectly, but sometimes you're just going to get unlucky in this game. But getting unlucky is not really that unlucky because the equities run so close. You're just not that far ahead of your opponent pre-flop.
Yeah, when you go all in short deck and you have like a 60-40 and you lose it a few times in a row, you can't really complain about that.
Yeah, it's just like, sigh, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you know, when you lose aces versus kings and Nolan Hold'em, you're like, oh my god, I want to punch a wall or something.
Exactly that. So good triple up there for Nick Schulman. Very important spot for him. He has some battling chips now.
Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage here. The stakes are only going to get bigger. Tomorrow, finishing off this tournament, playing down to a winner. And the next day, I believe we're going to have a 500,000 Hong Kong dollar buy-in event. 5x the buy-in of this one.
Yeah.
And then there's a $1 million Hong Kong dollar buy-in. That's 10x. And then a 2 million main event. All with re-entries. So this is going to get very expensive and very big prizes.
The main event at $250,000 is going to be no limit hold'em normal style.
We will have both short deck and no limit events for you guys to watch. I think it's always great to see these new games and see how they develop. It's definitely getting much more popular. Of course, classic no limit hold'em, you can never really throw away that game.
Yeah. That one's there to stay.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
Jenna picks up a few antis there. Went only with 40 antis under the gun. Seems like a lot, but it's kind of been the theme of the day so far. People protecting their reasonable hands. And then trying to, their really strong hands trying to kind of square that away against their weaker hands. Yes, these cards are bullets, so if somebody has 2 little plaques in front of them, that means that they can at any time buy 200,000 chip stacks more. You get 3 when you buy into the tournament. Delay is half an hour, but we're seeing the same thing as you guys. My name is Lex Veltas. I'm casting alongside Randy Liu, Nana Noko. And we're live on site here on Jeju Paradise Island.
So Chong here, pocket 10s. One of his 10s are dead. Don't know the other card, Potashnik. I'm going to assume it's usually a jack of clubs.
Oh.
Or a 9 of clubs. We'll find out soon.
This is a really great spot for Chong to start firing at this, even though Potashnik is not that deep, so it's really hard to trying to get him to fold.
So he just puts his opponent all in. I think Potashnik had 10-9 suited because he just insta-mucked.
I think so too.
Or pocket 10s. Could have pocket 10s.
Yeah, that's true actually. Saw it yesterday a few times. Yeah, so when you hear the Hong Kong amount, you divide by 8 and you'll have the US dollar amount. So Leo on the button right now, which is something that the other people are going to have to take into account.
Call.
He's very aggressive. This game is definitely getting some traction. I hear people talk about it on Twitch all the time. A lot of people seem to enjoy it. It's also because it's such an action game and it's reasonably easy to understand from a rule perspective. The only change that was recently made is that a flush beats a full house now because it's actually harder to make. All the cards in short deck or the deuce 3, 4, 5 are taken out, which means that you lose 4 possible flush outs. So flush is actually harder to make than a full house because a full house gets easier because there's less cards in the deck. Same as straight, so flush definitely a very powerful hand, as it should be. But other than that, it's pretty much all the conventional no-limit hold'em rules, except for the fact that, you know, an ace makes a straight, because it counts as a 5 as well, so ace, 6, 7, 8, 9 is a straight. But, you know, that's kind of the same as it is in no-limit hold'em, because an ace functions as a 1 as well.
So that is Makita Badzikowski you're looking at.
陣間換一陣間換。
High stakes cash game player, high stakes tournament player, high stakes short deck player.
Does it all.
Very well calculated player. I tell you, I'm a big fan of the way Ivan plays, though.
Yeah.
He makes some unconventional plays here and there, but like, he has a mission. I want to win all of the chips, and I want the trophy.
Yeah. Today.
Like today, if I can win it today, I'm gonna win it today.
Yeah. No, I like how he plays.
You know, I've spoken to him before. And he tells me I'm not a professional player. I play for fun. But like, he definitely has the right mindset, and has the right strategy, and just aggression usually wins.
Yeah.
So Showman here, pocket jacks. We've seen some players just shove all in with this stack size. Showman's going to do just that.
He has 50 antes though. It's
yeah,
like we keep coming back to the point that it's like, okay, but it's probably a winning move.
Yeah, it's tricky.
But it's very tricky, right? It's something to think about.
Well, Chong snap calls him. You can think about this too. You also avoid getting bluff off your hand.
Yeah.
Like in this spot, say he raised and then Chong shoves, he's probably going to fold his jacks actually. So you prevent those situations from happening. We've definitely seen people play different styles with like these pocket pairs. Chong needs to hit an ace or king. He still has 36% chance to win this pot. Well, I think that's the end of it. Oh wow, there's actually
He can make a flush.
flush.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he did not get there.
You can see the hesitation there. People are like, oh wait, you know,
Yeah,
flush beats a full house now.
Yeah, about to tap the table. Nice hand. Not.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, flush beats a full house in this game because it's harder to make a flush than full house.
多5千，多5千啱。
So Chong has been having a pretty swingy day today.
就係
He's getting out there and firing.
哦，
And
兩鋪我都唔
Showman,
夠
he's
嘅，
been short stack a bit today and
我想都唔夠
just
嘅，
won back-to-back hands.
仲係咯，仲有
Doing
積嚟啊！哦，
That's a nice stack there for Shulman, yeah.
So if you want to know the chip denominations, the yellow are 1,000, the oranges are 5,000, and the blues are 25,000.
Alright, so over to Leo. Most likely. Oh, he's gonna choose us to raise.
All in.
I like the raise though. You need to have some weaker hands in there.
Jack 10 is the nuts.
Jack
I'm
10
telling
is the
you.
nuts though.
I've
yeah.
never seen anyone fold Jack 10. Just don't fold it. So Ivan's going to make the quick call 7-6 suited. His opponent doesn't have many chips left.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Whoa.
no, I think he...
That's really aggro.
Did he reshove? A little bit lost on action.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to get involved, so it's kind of like we have to rewind in our brain and.
Does he have hold? Oh, he is all in.
Works out in this scenario.
佢真係玩得下喎。
All right, so Ivan flops a flush draw. Showman flops top pair and a straight
誒
draw.
領先啊！
唔係我啊。
好 ，yes。
Yes.
He's just
Yes.
rooting, rooting for the other guy. I like it.
All right, so Ivan makes a flush. He's going to take down this pot.
Wow, that's a big pot.
Potashnik He's out of chips. He's gonna have to use one of those rebuy bullet tickets to get another 100,000 chips. Look, Showman, he's just lost 100,000 there. It's a very, very swingy game. Like in the last 3 hands, I think Showman's been all in every single time. And now he's like in the middling situation.
Yeah. The swings in this game are absolutely crazy. I can't even imagine playing this for high stakes cash.
I just reading my last bullet. Yeah.
Spade-a-doo.
I wish the people at my table would say yes for me when I win the pots. Just tilt the other guys.
Oh, it always tilts me so much when I lose a pot against somebody and somebody's cheering for that other person. It's like, are you serious? You know, shut your mouth. It's all in good fun here. Like, it's a much more relaxed atmosphere. Maybe, you know, it could be like Spades is his favorite card or something, and I'm just happy.
Oh, I haven't seen him flush in a while. On to the next hand. So Potashnik is using his final bullet. Otherwise, he's got to rebuy. He needs another 100,000 Hong Kong.
Dump.
Chong's all in with ace king.
哈哈，清哥，我 call 你唔到，我成日想同你講一聲。
Ah.
Showman of King Jack offsuit. I would say this is a bit of a loose call if he wants to make it. I don't think he's gonna do it.
Oh, nice to see. I was starting to think that he's putting a little bit too much stock in the King Jack, King 10 type hands. Yesterday I said King 10 was an amazing hand, and then you gave me some shit.
I was like, no, Lex.
You looked so surprised at me too.
King 10 is a great hand in no limit hold'em. In this game, it's like, yeah. You know how they say like you want your cards to be very connected? Like, you know, like Queen Jack is better than like Queen 10, right? Because they're straight draw. It's much more important in this game.
Oh yeah. Jasmine pretty disciplined on the not limping to weak hands pre-flop. There's a lot of all-in going on right now, which is good. It's good sound strategy. Just people trying to pick their spots. It's very dangerous just because a game is aggressive where there's a lot of all-ins to, you know, think of it as gambling or bingo or all that stuff. It's very important to just sit down and try to figure out what the reason is behind it or what the strategy is. You don't want to be the guy that just doesn't really improve or, you know, learns about new strategies just because you're hating on something. You see it a lot in poker. When somebody has a certain strategy and somebody, you know, for instance, if a tighter player faces a looser player, they'll often criticize the strategy because they're not used to it. But you're playing against very intelligent people here, so it's always good to see, you know, what created the strategy, what's the idea behind it, can I incorporate something into my own game, what are some good points. That's always a very good way to look at games in general, but poker specifically. One of those situations where Batsiakowski is going to hope not to see another bet. He has him almost drawing dead though. Absolutely no point in raising a hand like the King 6. You're only going to get called by better, so trying to sniff out a bluff. Chong really likes firing. Pretty much gives up in the pot. Can't imagine we see anything else in check here now. It's a very dangerous thing to say in these events.
Yeah.
Like bets. Ah, okay. All right. All right, check.
You got it right.
Yeah.
You got it right, Lex. I totally agree. You do have some showdown value.
People like to stick around with 7s, 9s, 6s on these paired boards. Clubs.
After you put them in the box, you don't even have to leave them there anymore. Just put them in the box before you look at them so they can get your graphic real fast. Thank you.
The iPhone sound.
無敵是最寂寞啊！冇得玩啊你今日。
哇！我想嘔咯。
So 7-6 offsuit and Jack-6 offsuit are the worst hands you can have in this game.
Yeah, Jack-6 offsuit similar to 7 deuce offsuit, and 6-7 offsuit similar to 2-3 offsuit. So you look at Jack-6, nothing.
What are you doing? Oh wow, he actually limped it as well.
Does get a C. If you get a C of free flop, it's usually nothing wrong because the antes are so huge. So no player has a good piece of this. If someone just bets, they will win this pot.
Again, I think this is a really interesting spot to consider to bet out with the 10 on the flop because it doesn't really have that much showdown value. If you check, your opponent's might bluff you off the best hands, and I think it works really well as a semi-bluff. Because you just block 10-9 and ace-10, which is just so huge.
Well, he's let his opponent get there with a straight.
The old, I'm gonna check my cards and then bet.
Yeah, they're both like numbers. There's no way you can have a straight. You know? Maybe Showman looked at his cards like, oh, I got a straight. Just try to pretend. Okay, he checks. Chong here. It is hard to get called by worse, but he's going to take a stab at it.
Pretty big one too.
I think he's trying to mix it up a little bit.
There is a flush out there too, so it's pretty big sizing.
It's just really hard to get called by one pair of hands on
大
these
分之後點
boards.
搞？
反轉頭，反轉頭咪投降咯，舉手啊！點搞啊？仲使搞啊？
I do think you should be betting for your made hands like a straight on there sometimes and sometimes checking. Just do a mixed strategy, that way you're balanced in spots when, say, you want to get free showdowns. You want to have a straight there sometimes. Think about what you're going to do with your other actions and then decide how to play your hands that way.
Yeah, that's always really good. Like not thinking a single hand situation, but what kind of hands would I have in this situation? What's a pretty good overall strategy for all of them?
And something I would also probably think about is, well, my opponents are probably going to study past footage and sometime in the future, so I want to kind of set the tone that I've got this mixed strategy so you don't know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's very important to be unpredictable. Or at least not predictable. In poker, you don't have to be like super crazy and unpredictable,
Yep.
but there's always needs to be a sense of doubt, right? I mean, really good tighter players in this game bluff and take advantage of the fact that they have a tight image, but they're tight enough to where people always think like, he usually has it though, so I don't know, and then they fold, which is good too when you play a little bit more aggressive, to go for a lot of value. It's just very straightforward stuff, but it's really good to sometimes think about and remind yourself.
So Chong flops 2 pair. Ivan Leo's the one betting pocket sixes.
My.
3 overcards.
All right, this is a little bit out there.
This is basically, I hope you guys don't have too much. Cannot shake Chong. He doesn't have much of a hand, but you know, when you get checked to as a dealer, maybe you're like, well, my phones will fold King Jack type hands on a flop. If they are going to fold those types of hands, this play becomes much better.
Yeah.
Actually, this card is quite bad for Chong's hand. Queen 8. It's now been counterfeited. So if Ivan's firing again, 40,000. Just got pocket sixes. probably thinks his opponent, if he's got like a hand like Queen Jack 10-9, probably would have raised the flop a good amount of time. So he likely has a queen, and he should be scared of the jack, just in general.
This just shows really good hand reading abilities. Wow, great turn bluff there. I definitely don't really agree with the flop bet, but really
well, he definitely has like a plan. Like, well, fundamentally, like betting 6 on the flop is like kind of whatever. But then like you can see that he's playing the player a lot. It's like, oh, if certain cards come that I know don't really improve my check calling opponent, I'm just going to try to represent those hands and take advantage. It's really hard for his opponent to call there with like Queen 8.
Yeah, it seems like Leo is really aware of the fact that, you know, turn spots are really hard to play and river spots, and the boards change so much, and you can really tell a lot by your opponent just checking again and not raising the flop like you said, and trying to figure out where he's at.
And you remember how I was saying how, you know, people, they kind of bet once against top, they get top pairs to fold, but maybe Ivan's like, well, if I bet twice, I can get a lot of 1-pair hands to fold. And maybe that's one of the adjustments he's made coming into this series.
Yeah, it's definitely been one of my favorites to watch.
So Chong's going to come along, Queen 10 offsuit.
Check down as a nuts.
盤都正確。
3-way all in. So you see the equities are pretty close here.
強啲啊，2加3份錢啊！
以負面強啲喎。
No one even has an ace or like a real premium right now.
後尾你都瓜，
蛇咯，
你係要中間啫。
Hello.
All right, what did they flop?
Yeah.
即搞掂
啊！
即
Everyone has like a lot of equity.
哇！
Oh,
咦我
wow.
哇！你
你冇得領
領先緊
That
啊！
is an amazing card for
你領先緊啦，唔使啊！
River's a king.
I like how I said it's an amazing card 4, and I just stopped talking because I'm like, wait, what? Let's look at the cards again.
I was trying to save you, but I didn't know how to save it.
你贏啊！
Yeah, it is.
It's an amazing
啊！
card.
要
Yeah,
清
wow,
波你又
I
要
really
推
like
出嚟，
that
你又
card.
唔知自己贏。
Chong's going to win that pot.
冇諗住其他嘢
Eliminates
先。
Potashnik, who's out of
腳
bullets.
大佢一格啊
Jet
嘛，
loses
仲
there.
大啊嘛，腳大啊！
I have 113.
And the equities were really close when I saw really briefly. I think the lowest percentage was like about 30%. In 3 ways, well, it should be 33 is the lowest if it's an equal split. So it's not, you're really not that far behind. Even though he was dominated, still had about 30%.
It's unreal.
So Potashnik's been eliminated. He's ran out bullets. If he wants to rebuy, he can. It'll cost him 100,000 Hong Kong dollars.
Thank you。
幾簡單啊！呢副牌都有得贏。
2份啊，大佬。佢唔去我唔去啦，佢去我去啊。
哇！你副好勉強啊！一係你揸細晒，一係你又揸呢副呢副。
魚係咁噶嘛。
唔係，真係有少少勉強。
So blinds are 4,000,
真係
8,000.
你入得好勉強。
啊，科學根據係得嘅。
科學根據，
科學
唔係科學根據，係事實，唔係科學根據，冇科學根據，事實係得。
So Ivan Leo is the table chip leader, 296,000 chips. He's got Queen Jack of Diamonds and under the gun.
嘿，黑鬼落咗嚟。
He's going to shove all in. Blinds are up, so
Oh,
much
four.
more incentive to try to just take down the blinds and antes right now. He's going to chip up there. He's going to show his cards. Oh, he's up against Jetton's Ace King, who only has 27,000 chips remaining.
嗰邊食啊 ，ban 咗啊
，ban 咗啊？
，ban 咗，一定我去到第一張台食。
Flop strip queens. Jetton
慘啊慘！
only has 5%, and now he's Busted that stack. Threw in his bullet ticket. It's going to get another 100,000 chips shortly. Full house for Bad Ziakowski. Super high stakes action tournaments are coming in the future. Peter Jen's got another 100,000 chips.
3、6、7個，我哋5個，其實咪應該揾多個過嚟咧。
Yep.
Excuse me. Only 5% in this table. Pardon?
So Chong's gonna come along with Queen 7 of clubs under the gun. It's usually never really a mistake to come along to complete pre-flop because of how big the antes are. So that's why you see all these guys just calling. Very, very different than No Limit Hold'em, where people would be generally raising or folding. In this game, not true at all. Bad Ziakowski's got the nutted hand. Jack 10 suited. Everyone's been going all in with this type of hand pre-flop. Bad Ziakowski, another player to do so. So Jetton has called all in with 10-9 offsuit. He's hoping his opponent has ace-king, which he would be flipping against.
I'm dominating you.
Bad Ziakowski gets it in good.
Easy read. And we get what we deserve.
So Bad Ziakowski flops a pair of jacks. Jetton's in trouble. He does turn a gut shot on the turn. Needs to hit an 8 to make a straight. River's an 8.
Ooh.
So Jetton
Is it 100 or?
is going to double up on the first, on the last bullet he has.
Okay.
Collects an additional 24,000 in antes as well from his other opponents. Sick river card. You just see that flop ace jack 6 and you see your opponent flop top pair, you're like, oh, I'm drawing dead. There's always runner runners, and it's so much easier to hit runner runners in this game. There's a new player to the table.
好實啊！哇！阿偉拎條咩喂？啊，好多啊！識用冇你咪攞咁多？嗯？誒帶袋啊喂，帶嘢。
So do not forget, we'll play down to winner tomorrow in this 100K buy-in event. The day after, we'll have a 500K Hong Kong dollar buy-in, short deck ante-only final day as well. The day after that, we'll have a 6-max no limit hold'em, 500,000 Hong Kong buy-in, and then we'll be playing the 1 million short deck buy-in event, and then the 2 million Hong Kong dollar no limit main event. It's a lot of high stakes. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right. Sorry.
So Jetton limps, Ivan's raising ace queen. So actions on Jetton, he's going to lay down a king-queen offsuit in this dominated situation.
嗰手上電視嗰手嚟。
好啦，下邊十啲啊。
嗯？
下邊十啲，個牌容易睇啲啊。
咩啊？
個牌容易睇。
右牌？
個牌容易睇啲。
係啊？係喎，唔同啊。
On to the next hand shortly.
嗰張阿 Web 依家響嗰張外星台啊！好彩喺度就有清哥同你陪下我。
咩啊？我而家唔偷雞㗎啦！
啊？
我而家唔偷雞啊！
你講啫。
我唔陪你偷雞而家。
你講啫。你講啫，清哥。我聽住先咯。
我唔會好似你咁嘅。
嗯。
我而家打10牌啊！依家。
打10牌啊？係咪真啊？唔得，我聽你講嘢先，清哥。
All right, so Shulman comes along with 10-9 offsuit. Badzikowski give ace-6. It's not a great hand, but he only has 86,000 remaining.
係咁啊，係。
21 antes. He's going to shove all in, just hoping his opponents will fold, or limping hands like Broadway's, which he is pretty much
佢
flipping
係
with.
真係諗㗎，佢真係諗，佢真係有嘢諗嘅，唔知諗咩啫，肯定有嘢諗㗎。
On to Shulman, 10-9 offsuit. He's got 58% equity to win some chips back. He's invested 8,000 into this pot. If he knows his opponent has ace-6 or ace-king, he should be calling here. But he's going to pitch it. So Badzikowski going to win that pot with ace-6. I think if Shulman realizes his opponent is shoving a lot of just hands like ace-6, he needs to be making this call. But he's not. He probably doesn't think Badzikowski would shove a hand that weak. Probably thought occasionally his opponent dominates him with like an ace-10 suited. So we are in Jeju, South Korea, for this Triton Super High Roller Series. Badzikowski of Jack 10 suited. Everyone's all in with this hand pre-flop, and he's going to continue that trend.
How much? 90, 100, 109.
So it's not a big shove. Jet with King Jack offsuit. He is dominating him.
Hanging around.
But it's tricky because your opponent, Badzikowski in the spot, would also shove a hand like
Kita.
Ace King as well.
109.
Huh?
109.
Yeah.
I call.
Ivan makes the call of King Jack.
Nuts.
You have a very nuts hand. Dominate you.
Ah, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
So Badzikowski is dominated here, but he's not that far behind.
Ace, king, queen.
King, Jack.
A king on the
queen.
flop.
Easy.
Badzikowski needs one of the remaining queens. 25% chance to hit it. Turn is a 6. 14% chance to hit his river queen.
Q. Ah.
River is a 10, so Badzikowski has been eliminated. He's going to use one of his rebuy bullets to get another 100,000 chips here.
Ừ, 佢哋叫鬆咗嘅。
邊個？佢一味咁挑釁我邊度得啊，大佬？佢冇打牌嘅你喎，佢睇完諗好耐，佢淨係得一個 action 嘅啦，就係 all in。
哦，佢就係咩啊
係咁挑釁我唔
你揸咩啊？
嚇？
你揸咩啊？
誒有牌啊，
揸咩啊？
即啊，
哦，
佢換實啦，黃色咯。
咩嘅？冇俾你咩
Jack 10 suited is pretty much like one of the best hands
幾時換
go
我
with
攞手你
pre-flop
啊？
that isn't
我冇
like
睇到
ace
咯
king, aces, kings, and queens. If you're up against ace king with Jack 10 suited, you actually have, I'm gonna guess, about 48% equity against 52. So it's even better than having ace king versus than pocket queens in pre-flop. And your opponents are generally not getting all in with hands like queen 10, queen jack, ace 10, ace jack. So you're not dominated that much with Jack 10 suited as well. So it's probably like the best hand you can really play. And the good thing is that it makes nutted straights all the time. So you don't have to be worried about your opponent making a better straight with Jack 10 suited post flop. So it's a very versatile hand in short deck, especially because the 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s have been removed.
Changing. Hey.
So it looks like we're gonna have a 4-way flop. Ace, queen, 9. Seal flops best. Ace 10. Chong here, bottom pair. But Ivan's the one betting with top pair. He's going to get Seal to fold the best hand. Aggression paying off. And like I've been saying over and over, people are folding one pair hands a lot more often in multi-way pots. So it becomes quite good to just bet, even with like semi-bluffs and gut shots, or even one pair hands here and there. So we got a new player to the table.
Oh, how are you?
Welcome each other.
Why are we playing?
高手笑下。我睇到你咁嚴肅，我會圍攻你喎。係啊，
like couple days before.
都玩咯，呢遊戲
So I already
只係研究
just
緊。
stay in a huddle.
研究緊啊。
I'm not planning to be outside. Like we're just gonna stay here for a whole week.
But I was looking at
高手就有13分鐘可以食飯啦嗰度。
Really?
有點 break 咩？
冇啊，我打包咗嘛嗰度。
Seems like we pretty far from like.
But there is a large theme park and water park right outside.
喺嗰度啊，
喺邊度啊？
我 feel 係 V 拉。
If any of these players want to cool off.
There's busy schedule, too much tournaments to gamble.
Cool.
So Torbergson, he was playing in Montenegro here in Jeju.
Yep. Third bullet already.
So Chong calls of
But it's a
a7.
cheap one, so
Seal of 10-9 of diamonds.
better to be
Showman
firing in this
king
one.
10 of hearts on the button. So they're going to
Save
try
us
to
some, like,
punish the
10 million.
limpers. He makes it 28,000.
Cool.
Much?
28.
Oh.
He's not able to shake his opponents off, so
Unlikely.
he'll have to take it on post flop.
Yeah.
Flop is queen 8-8.
I mean, it's pretty easy for me. I don't even need a visa, but
Chong misses completely. Seal actually flops pretty well here for a straight flush draw.
most tournaments. like-
Showman doesn't hit, so he checks.
Huh?
Turn is a queen.
Yeah. I actually was coming back and forth, so I played like in the beginning and at the end.
So it's checked around on the
but
flop.
still it's, so,
No player has a made
from
hand,
home to Vegas.
but does someone want to take a stab
Yeah, like I
trying to
took a
represent
3 weeks break.
queen?
Like,
And Chong is the one that's doing it. Just ace-7. He gets Seal to fold his straight flush draw. Shulman, he's got his flush draw of his own.
No, I
The good thing about a flush draw is if you do make your hand and
Like,
your
I mean,
opponent does have a
there's-
queen, you actually will win.
like the big
because in
games are
short deck,
mostly nicks,
a flush
and,
beats a full house.
You could sometimes get like good 100, 200 or something, but there is nothing special. You could just.
So I
go
think
to
Shulman's
Macau and
thinking
play
about,
with,
well, maybe my opponent would never bet a
and
queen
Vegas
here,
is
so
also
maybe I
much
can
nicer
float.
city to just
But
do
he's just
some
gonna fold
parties
it.
or something.
順便啦，攞大音。
So Chong just looking for ways to win a lot of pots right now.
There was also lots of people from Macau. Went to have fun.
特別個女咪正啲買啊，要6 ini tak sama apa bang?
Alright guys, what's up? That's any big pots?
There were a lot of funny pots. But you know what? There's a big theme. Jack 10 suited, guess what happened every time? All in pre-flop.
Yeah.
Standard. Just your typical short deck action. You know, like they kind of play like a little bit snug for a little bit. Oh, I just feel like getting all in every hand.
Hola, hola, hola. Hey, hey, hey.
Tchaikovsky all in with the king queen. Lots of money for him to pick up in the middle. He can actually improve 50% on stack, but Chong, nice little rush there, has ace king.
20
OK 唔使啊，得。
Okay.
That's usually not a good
對
sign.
最靚啲
Turn
褲啦
it
應該。
around. Somebody starts laughing.
Q, Q, Q. 10 of diamonds.
誒保險。
保險啊！
10. Close.
保險。
得你。
Tap
保
nice
險
one,
你
chopped
嗌
it.
Rebuy.
No. Yes.
Yeah, just rebuy.
Zikowski
我
is
買
rebuying
分錢
again.
我嗰度。
Seems like pretty happy to rebuy.
Like, oh great, I got 3 cards again. 3 rebuy
Pretty
plex.
sure
There we go, there's the man.
騎住俾佢傾啊！
Who's that guy? That's Phil Ivey.
嗱，換多粒俾你啊！冇同人講。換多粒俾你。咁熟，冇所謂。
Everyone's probably excited to see Phil Ivey in the chat. I know you guys.
I'm excited to see Fly.
Yeah, me too. I think that's Rui Cal sitting next to him.
等佢。
Yeah, it looks like it.
等佢屙出嚟喎！佢成日搞呢啲。
你大個仔咗啦，嗰度煙網又黏，你大個仔咗啦，依家。
佢兩隻擸住嗰啲，佢實懟出嚟㗎嘛。
又係呢招啊！
Jets and limping, queen 9 suited, reasonable hand to limp for sure. So even though it says call 8,000, they're completing up to the big ante, the button ante of 8,000. Everybody has already 4,000 invested, which is really important to realize. Shulman gonna go for the king queen. It's definitely one of the hands we see people use when they have around 20-30 antes to go all in with as well.
Else.
Wow, Tchaikovsky going for it with 9s.
Yeah, I think Pat Zikowski's been all in so many times. He's like, I'm bound to win one by statistics.
I fold it.
Nice. A little bit, definitely a little bit of a loose call. Lots of dead money in those. Something you always have to remember here.
have a pair. Hand is
死
better.
啲喎。
I mean, as you can see, there's 36,000
9,000
chips, dead money in there.
唔係知唔知一定要推嘅籌碼
That can definitely warrant a lot of plays.
哎呀，我 call
Oh yeah, he
Too
folded
many
sixes,
outs.
Leo.
佢而家係
哇！我 quad 啊！
Too many outs.
I only heard the quads.
Rebuy, rebuy, rebuy.
Rebuy.
9,9全
Yeah, Badzikowski. Probably
8
he might
minutes.
be in for the most
9,9
bullets
In the tournament.
because possibly in the tournament
接喎應該嚇。
because he made it to the last hand yesterday and was eliminated.
He's running, but registration's open for a little while, isn't it? When does it close?
He said 8,
7.
but maybe it's 38.
7 levels?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, I think it's one more level.
Through 7.
4條喎，6啊，6。
Oh, I'm actually not sure.
我諗嗰個
His mouth's closed, better adjust those odds. That's true. It's usually when he's in the hands. Chong with another hand. Has 400,000 now. It's so nice when you win a few in a row where you can really have, you know, a big lead over your opponents because you're going to be flipping so much and all in so often. At least you're like, when you have 400,000, you're like, okay, I can cover this with a few all-ins, you know?
I want to point out though, Chidwick had about 800,000 and they were all gone in the last 5 hands of the day.
That's so true.
But yes, you're definitely right. It's nice to have that buffer zone in case you do lose pots. I would kind of treat like the pre-registration period, no, before registration closes as the spend money to build chips phase.
Yeah.
Then the real poker it's right after. So we're now a two-way pot here. Heads up. Chong of pocket jacks against 10-9 offsuit. And actually, Jetton with 10-9 offsuit can really put a lot of pressure on Chong if he decides to play his hand aggressively. Let's see what Chong decides to do. It'd be very tough if you bet this flop and get check raised all in.
我攞住我咪
Just really won't be able to continue too often.
聽到嘅。
10-9. Such a strong hand here. Wow.
So Chong's gonna continuation bet 50,000.
Chong has a perfect medicine against 10-9 here, but we've seen him make some loose calls. I will never just say, okay, he can fold here.
Yeah, it's a quick all-in by Jetton. It's a bad spot if your opponent has an ace. You need to hope your opponent has a draw. Yeah, Chong's gonna go count those chips himself.
5萬6萬
100
萬
10萬11萬12萬12萬2。
Something I would think about is that I'm not too worried about the 8 and the 7 because my opponent probably wouldn't limp call 7s and 8s too often. So I can maybe discount those kind of sets.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course, I'm worried about ace queen, but then something I would think about is that sometimes my opponent will limp shove ace queen pre-flop. So then maybe he doesn't have ace queen that much. Ace
yeah,
jack
think
does
about
he?
it like that. Yeah, there's flush draws out there. Obviously, a lot of straight draws. This would be a really good situation to go all in with, you know, a hand like Jack 9 or.
Is he gonna make the call?
Wow,
This is a big call if he makes it.
That'd be a pretty sick call.
It's a good one. Because if he's wrong, he is drawing very thin. Wow.
Wow, what a call.
Chong is playing excellent today. His opponent has 34% equity.
That is a pretty impressive call.
Very good situation because you're blocking your opponent's outs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even worse now.
River is a 6.
Wow.
Ivan. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chong makes an excellent call. Unfortunately, Jetton makes a straight. The Jack wouldn't even make Jetton the best hand.
500.
sick hand.
20多20多27
多27啊？
啊，多27000。
27000啊？
係。
Wow, that was a really impressive call.
Yeah, I'm just. Actually, once Ivan said something, I was like, "Oops," because I think if his friend won the hand, he would have said something else like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that didn't sound very enthusiastic. It's really hard to call like hero call in this game with specific hands like that.
Yeah. And a lot of people would just fold there.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, like I said, your opponent really isn't limp calling 7s and 8s, you know. So he probably limp shoving ace king, aces. No one's really check raising all in with queens and kings on an ace high board.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like a bit of a puzzle. Like, at first glance, you see a hand, you're like, oh, overcards, simple fold. But if you really think about it, and the positions and what your opponent did pre-flop, the story can help you figure out whether you should make the call or not.
Yeah, very true. I think one of the biggest problems is that if you were wrong with jacks, you are absolutely screwed. Or if you have a hand like 10-9 on ace 9-8, or let's say on ace 8-7, if you have a hand like 9-8, there's a lot more possibilities, right? There's better runner on his straight draws. There's you have 5 outs against top pairs, so it's very interesting dynamic.
No, it's no worries. Whatever. Do I have to take this off?
Turn it off. He'll turn it off for you. Just to let you know, all bullets go in play right now. The registration's open.
All right, so pretty big bluffer as well. Tens, Jet has a gut shot. Don't forget that he can make a straight with a 9. The ace can function as a 5.
All right. So now that registration looks like it's closing, I believe all of the bullets must be claimed right now. So everyone who has tickets in front of them must claim it, each one for 100,000 chips, so that they won't be able to rebuy at a final table.
So we're gonna look at some overview here. We see Leo with 500k. We've been really impressed by Ivan over the last 2 days, and Bear is gonna have close to 400,000 on the red table. We see Chitwick in the field as well. A very interesting Ben Lam on the table. So really cool to see those guys trying it again today. Oh yeah. Wow.
刘已经约了好几次，既然这一次又要被你们放鸽子，借口太多，一次又一次。你们不是忘了就说是有事，济州之行我们真的可以考虑。行程方面没有太多的琐事，趁着年轻应该多看看风景。美好的时光不等人，会很快流逝。我特别想去济州，想炸鸡啤酒。神话世界说走就走，不用考虑太久。赢了送机票，加酒 perfect 完美，不仅免签，还有很多优惠。套路烂借口全部都得靠边，这里拥有美式变形金刚各种乐园，济州神话世界等着我们发现，几周后在济州见，别被别人抢先。
I wanna go to that theme park so bad. Get me out there. Okay, see Jeju Island. This is where we reside right now. We're live on location. See, I told you. Jeju Shinhwa World, 4 resorts, 1 location. You'll see about 1 million food places. It's an absolutely stellar location for us. This is that theme park that you saw from the window. Alright, so we're gonna look at some highlights from the other table. We see a Ben Lamb here who limped under the gun with ace 10. Bear, who we saw, was the outer table chip leader, or the red table chip leader, I should say. And Ben Lamb limp raising with ace 10. I like it. I like it. Pretty good to do with decent aces.
87.
Bear also has Young behind him to take into account. Wow. Good call by Bear.
我覺得冇得贏啊！呢隻牌。哇，good call 咗啊！
Wow, Young calls as well. That's adventurous. He flops a gut shot. Lamb blocking one of the tens though. Still has 21%, I guess.
嚟一條六，六仔。
Wow, that actually makes Ben Lamb and bet chop. Yeah, guys, I saw it. I saw it before you even said it. You thought it, saw it.
I'm chopping it.
Give me the lyrics. I'll rap along to the commercial next time. I don't care. It's a hype song.
How much do you have?
Nice low, nice low. Alright, so seems like we have a pot that went to the flop. Really good flop here for Bear. King Queen kind of feel reasonably safe. Young just gets it in with a gutter. Young very experienced in this game. Gut shots are very strong. There's not even a flush draw on this table. The only problem is that you're not drawing to the nuts with this particular gut shot. Buddy has 23%. Yeah, I think tens is pretty good here. The one thing you have to consider though is like if two people have straight draws, you're not. Whoa. Oh, okay. I thought he said sick fold for a second. I'm hungry now, yes. I know. Yes, I just ate and I got hungry from that commercial. So Ben Lamb needs the most help out of everybody, but there is possibly a saving grace. Yeah, scoop a loop. Really big pot there.
我諗住有人孖女嗰度冚柒咗。
孖你都唔要付啊！
唔會冚啦，但係你諗下兩個 all in 嘅，你覺得好似好撚傻咁咯。呢個 all in 咗嗰度 snap all in 咗幾撚柒粗啊！
Alright, and then this one, Lamb all in again, this time with a little bit shorter stack. He's got 13 antes. Full limp calling. 10-7 gonna call. I mean, you have you have such good odds against high card hands. It's not that much more. It's gonna be interesting to see what Trincho has done. This is called as well. Good start there for Ben Lamb. Oh my god, Fu kind of locks it up there. No outs for the ace jack. Ben Lamb with only 1 out. 2 outs, I'm sorry. Ben Lamb definitely pretty unlucky what we saw yesterday. Doesn't get any help here. We saw him lose a lot of all-ins yesterday. Played really well. Decided to try again today. Very new to the game of short deck, but picked it up very quickly. Van Lam all in again. Pocket nines. Every time I see that hand in this game, I always think, I'm not too crazy about the hand, but then again, you know that people call a lot in the early position with 10-8 and hands like Jack 9, Jack 8. You're not gonna have any of it. Calls with Ace Jack suited. Did I see another call over there? But Trincher, did he call there with the Queen Jack as well? I see 100,000 out there. Let's go. Looks like there's gonna be a three-way all-in, or am I mistaken? Yeah. That's very loose with Queen Jack. Very, 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 very loose.
Wow, more jump.
Well, nine's out front. Locks it up there. So this one really worked out for Lamb. Trincher eliminated. Loses the side pot there too, Trincher, I believe. There we see Stephen Chitwick, as we said, entered the tournament as well. It's a really strong hand for Bear here. Van Lam shouldn't lose too many chips. Very dangerous board for King Queen. Two straights possible. Trips out there. Having the queen could spark some thoughts for him, though. Would he raise with a straight on his boards? Some less full house combinations out there. I think that might be a trend in this game when you play it really deep, that you can go pretty crazy when you would have a hand like Queen 9 here. We talked about that a little bit early. Back completes the straights. Best looks again, so we're kind of having a look into how Bear got his stack there. Always interesting to see what people do with suited aces. Ace 9 right in the middle there. A little bit weaker, on the weaker side. Kicker wise, at least it's suited, as they say. Chitwick all in for 120. This seems like a pretty non-favorable spot for Ace 9, but look at the amount of money that's invested. There's 40k in the middle, and then only has to call 100 more to win 160. So you do get really, really good odds, which is why you see so many calls and all-ins. I think it's very dangerous in a game like this to kind of get carried away and just start calling it off. Of course, you're going to have pretty good value in your hand, and your odds are going to be pretty good, but you got to be a little bit careful. If you always have the 40% or 37, I have no idea yet what it is, but I would guess that it's going to be like 35% for Ace 9 there. That's my guess, guys. I'm going to be super proud of myself. Alright, we don't get to see. Bang. Oh my god. Everybody laughing. Except for Chitwick, but he usually takes it in good strides, so. Interesting to see Triton play. Because of that little bit loose hand that he had with Queen Jack there, it's going to be interesting to see what hands he picks with to do what. I was trying to figure out some tendencies, some playing styles of different players and kind of track how those play styles fare at the table if they get in tough situations. So both a 6 and a Jack make a straight here. And think about that, right? So what are some hands that you really beat? Of course, you can beat a hand like King 10. It's so hard to have an air ball. Really only looking at King Queen here. King Queen is the only air ball that we can see on this board for a high card hand. You're really considering it, so if he's really thinking about it here, he's really putting his opponent on a hand like King 9, Queen 9. It seems a little bit loose.
I did a rebuy. I go back to the front.
Yeah. 其實盲嘅資料即係，
But
係太唔了解你啦。
Fu definitely one of the more aggressive players at the table.
你一定係蹲中鳩咗，
sometimes you
經
gotta
積
keep
女
him
飲
honest.
下 check。不過如果蹲你打你 jam 我咯。
我預咗出聲嗰個嘛，你出裡面變咗嘅。
So those were some of the outer table highlights. And here we see some of the chip counts. As you can see, we have another outer table where Phil Ivey has joined the fray. Rui Kao as well on the table. With Waikin Yong as well, son of Richard Yong. Pachakowski also rebought into that table. On the other table, Leo, like we said, 600,000. Nick Schulman with a very healthy stack. And Fu, we kind of saw his ascent there. 740,000 chips and Best, 600,000 chips, also won a lot of pots. Really expect a lot of action coming up. It's really cool to see also that there's some bigger stacks also at all the tables. Wow. Waikin Yong has 2.2 million. We saw him firing yesterday a little bit, but has shown great understanding of the game. And back to our featured table here. Well, Chong rejoins us. We've seen lots of action at this table. Keep talking about Ivan Leo. Very interesting player. Good strategist at this game from what we can tell.
Start the game. Yes.
As you can see live from Landing Casino, Jeju Shinhwa World, Jeju, South Korea. Oh, live on
而家就冇得
location.
再入嘅咯喎。
First event of the series.
想買呢場買就
It's
冇。
100,000 Hong Kong dollar, which is 12,500 US dollars approximately. And it's our first event. They added this event a little bit of a lower buy-in, if you can call it low. I mean, this would be a main event in a lot of places, but over here they decided to add a little bit of a lower event for the short deck so that people could get their feet wet. They can try it out, which has resulted in us seeing people, you know, like Ben Lamb, Steven Chitwick, trying it out. People rebuying a lot. You know, it's gonna funnel some people into the bigger events because we have a $60K coming up next. Short deck in a few days. For all the regular No Limit Hold'em fans, not to worry. There's a $255,000 re-entry main event. Oh my God! If you say it fast, it doesn't sound like a lot. It's pretty crazy. Jung taking it down with kings. King's very strong hand pre-flop. Definitely gets a lot harder to play on the flop. So because flops are really hard to play with some of the stronger hands like aces and kings, you see people pick some bigger sizes to raise with.
Tips.
Tips.
So rebuy is over now, yet that could change play a little bit. So if people get busted out of the tournament, they will not have the chance to fire another bullet for $12.5K. It's always nice if you're playing or if you're firing to have that backup, that safety net of a re-entry. Of course, you have to pay for it. So we see a lot of people with like the connected stuff, some of the lower stuff limping in early position. So interestingly here, we see Chong also limping with ace king, really hopes that somebody raises, and you can expect Liao to fulfill that request a lot, very aggressive. I feel like he picks the right moments. Oh my god, but here on the button we have Seo. And this is not gonna get folded by Chong. Pretty unfortunate situation for him here, but bada boom, bada bang. Leo's like, okay, I guess didn't work this time, got trapped.
有幾多錢過嚟？40鬆先應該。
Leo might think if both these guys have high cards, my 10-9 could possibly do better than expected. He has 500 though, so he would be wagering a lot of chips in his side pot. But it's up against the ace king hand.
I get 50 antes.
Not necessarily.
Hello.
See you. Yeah, maybe not. Hey, it's good enough. Sweet.
Jason Kuhn joining the action. Always a good face to see one of the nicest guys on the tour.
46萬，47萬。
Well, this hand
40
could create a monster here.
69000。
This would be a very loose call. If he correctly puts Chong on high cards here, you could consider him priced in, but that's a lot. That's a lot to assume.
Yeah,
And also think about the fact that there's no re-entries anymore. Alright. Good fold. He's gonna be a little bit sick probably when he sees the ace king.
You want your hand back?
Yeah. That's a good question by Peter Jetten there.
300? Alright, let's figure that shit out. 225. 275, 890. Alright. What the shit?
Oh my god, 10-9 would have gotten there. Oh, there you go.
Whoa.
So
Actually,
absurd.
chop it up.
Chop it up.
Wow, what a roller coaster hand that could have been, but it's even now. Oh man, it's so hilarious. You gotta love that about the high stakes scene, man. When somebody gets lucky and people are just chilling, especially because this is like a slightly lower buy-in for these guys, and somebody gets lucky, everybody's like, ha ha ha, kind of pointing at each other, laughing. Here's an overview of the room, as you see again there. We have Viking Yang Rukiao, Pachakowski, Phil Ivey. Here, son of Richard Young, Viking Young. Tournament chip leader, we saw him in the overview that he had approximately 2 million chips. I was very impressed with his play yesterday. At the end of the day, he seemed a little bit over it, but if you looked at when he was really playing his best, or at least when he was dialed in, he looked really good. Even when he was gambling at the end, he seemed to have a pretty good feel for what spot to take. Also Paul Foy there, so we see a lot of known names now.
How good is this set, right?
Joining the field, a lot of the big stars.
Double feature tables, we got gold going on here.
It's really nice.
Right?
I think I should be better right.
This is a permanent casino?
He's right.
Yeah, it's brand new. This is the first time poker's
Just
ever
like
played it.
I'm about to. I'm gonna about to.
Yeah,
yes.
we're here. First time working the kinks out.
This is really nice. What's tomorrow?
I think there's a 500K short deck, maybe?
Sounds about right.
See the full deck.
Where's that full deck?
There's a mega full deck coming. I
know.
Mega
A couple
fullback. Huge. I think like
Is that 2 million?
Yeah.
250K main event here. That's what the lads are discussing. Turberg's in here with the real hands.
Hey, hey.
Hey. Good last. Very fun player to have at the table,
How
Sean.
much did you shove, Maris?
I don't know, but I can figure it out. About 250.
I was in front of your Jack 10 suited. I was in front.
Jack 10 suited, often referred to as the nuts in this game. Jason Kuhn, as you can see. Super high roller. 2019, a Montenegro 1 million short deck champion, so that's 125K buy-in that he scooped up there. So definitely very experienced in this reasonably, relatively new game. Very smart guy, Jason Kuhn, not afraid to get out there and fire. A lot of respect for the guy, like I said, one of the nicest guys on tour. See a lot of people limp with hands like 10s, 9s, 8s, trying to flop 3 of a kind. Chong limping as well. So we have Leo this time picking a similar hand to just call along. Schulman. That's a pretty nice hand to have on the button. Check it down, try to flop a 6. It's very disguised. Nobody really fears a 6 on the board. Makes some straights, of course, but there you have it. 3 hearts out there, though. And let's not forget, guys, that a flush beats a full house. It's easier to make a full house in this game than it is to make a flush, because the deuce, 3, 4, 5 of any suit are taken out of the deck. That leaves more of the other cards, which means it's easier to make full house, it's easier to make straights, but it's harder to make a flush. So only 4 outs when you have a flush draw. Five outs? Help, help. Leo in there again with a pretty marginal hand. He does seem to make it work for him on future streets. This is going to be a pretty tough hand for him, though. And as you see here, Schulman makes a full house with Chong still with a live hand. 20% chance to make a flush. Really like what Leo is doing here. Recognizes the spot pretty well. You gotta think it, right? Like, if somebody flopped a flush, your full house is no good on the turn. There's a flush on the board. So Nick Schulman has a serious decision here. This is a very different spot from what you would expect in No Limit Hold'em. This is going to be very interesting to see on the river. I think that if Liao goes for a big bet here on the river, he's actually using it to bluff. It's kind of hard to think of what he's going to get value from. I think we're going to see a check here from Schulman. Especially if your opponent gives up here, it's kind of easy. It's kind of hard to think of hands that are going to pay you off. Still be hands that he's trapping with. And remember, you lose to a flush. It's very hard to get paid off by a straight with the way the action went. Looks like he is going to bet. Pretty light value bet there from Nick Schulman. He's absolutely right in this situation. Wow. And this is like, this is definitely one of those spots where somebody bets and you think, wow, that's a pretty light value bet, and then they get paid off, and that's just a sign of a really good
to wrap your mind around.
player, really good feel for the situation.
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck was going on this entire hand.
You did great.
Maybe I got the whole caboodle.
Yeah,
I
you
played
did.
better though.
No,
That's really funny that he says that. He said, I had no idea what's going on this hand.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
That was a very confusing hand indeed.
Yeah, you did great.
Rapadura.
Bluffs. Some shit happened for you. Fools.
You guys play here every day?
I'm digging this spade thing they got going here. This is cool.
Nice card.
Better than the beat up Rio RFID cards. Like the Rio RFID cards, you can see like a guy's like scratched A into one, or like A of S on the top.
A of S.
That's a Viffer quote you guys play every day.
Ola, Ola.
There you go, Kuhn with a really strong hand. 60,000 in the middle for him to try and pick up, so he can increase his stack by a little bit less than 25%.
Whenever you want.
276.
I don't want a massage. No.
That's what I was saying. It's a joke.
Two limpers with the same hand. I can only imagine that they're going to get out of the way. Seems like a little bit of a stretch. Shows an ace. I like that. Means even less in this game than when you show an ace and hold him.
Yeah, this before.
I really agree. I really think that was a really sick value bet there.
Carrie was sending me structure sheets today to the first ever Aria short deck tournament. So you're gonna
Really?
Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's a 10K too, so you get to jump in there.
Very nice.
Hopefully some people will show up.
What time do they run that?
I don't know. I don't know what the date is.
You think it'll make it into the World Series?
Eventually.
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
All in.
I don't know. It's a wild game, right? I don't know. There's like some parts about it that are great and other parts that I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is really should be in there.
Idag.
You seem to call it Poker 36 here.
36?
Yeah.
That's cool.
They were saying it's one of the only casinos where it's like allowed to spread it. Like,
Oh,
Vamos a ver.
anything, like, they're not allowed
Right,
in
so-
Canada.
that's right.
So here they
Sean calling
when
Leo
it's
Solon.
spread, it's just called Poker 36.
Come play Poker 36. And Quang. Ace 9S.
Leo at risk of elimination here.
54 to
These guys have
46.
flashed before today.
That's a big one.
Oh, dagger.
Oof.
There it is.
This game is something.
It's Game's cold, man.
It's cold, motherfucker, last night.
Damn. That's a rough exit for Leo. Always sad to see him go. Very fun player to watch. Gets out there, plays very aggressive, very smart approach to the game. Not bad to see Chong with chips though.
Could have
Definitely
been
knows how to
worse.
use them.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. But when it comes King 9, you're just like,
Oh, man.
oh yeah.
We need a Nick Schulman audiobook.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just a limp and a raise and an all in and all right. C5 with number 1. There were some cold hands last night. Really cold hands. Some cold hands.
Yeah, we saw some brutal stuff happening yesterday. Hands like Jack 10, 10-9 are very strong. I believe that a hand like Jack 10 suited is a flip or close to against a hand like Ace King. Just because there's so much straight potential.
All in.
All right, so this is really interesting. So Kuhn is really experienced at playing this game. He won the 125K buy-in. That's US dollar, $125,000 buy-in last time in Montenegro. And we've seen people limp a lot with hands like 10-9 suited, and this is actually one of the first times that we see somebody take a very aggressive approach with them with a reasonable amount of antes there. Really excited to see Jason Kuhn play. You know, like we always say, we're just learning along with you guys, but I really love when there's a really steep learning curve in a game, because that figuring out part, that's half the fun. And trying to like develop a strategy and see if something works, and then getting out there and playing, all that stuff is awesome. So really cool if we get another style from a good player. I really agree. This is a really great way to learn the game, especially also because this buy-in is a little bit lower than the rest of the series, and people, even people that might be pretty experienced in this game, you know, because the buy-in is lower, this might really give them the freedom to try something new. Say like, I think this is the pretty conventional strategy. It's a little bit safer to go that way, but let's switch it all around and try something else in a lower buy-in. I see people do that a lot. Also in online and cash games, people drop down a few levels to try some stuff, get comfortable with some strategies, see if they can, you know, execute them on the fly. Nitors, we'll see how far this game reaches. It seems to catch on. The pros seem to like playing it, especially because a lot of the businessmen like to play it, so that kind of dictates it. But people enjoy watching it too. I mean, we've had great numbers today and yesterday as well. Montenegro had really good numbers and a lot of positive feedback. You know, in my own channel as well on Twitch, we talk about it a lot. I get asked the question a lot if I've been playing it, or if I'm gonna play it, or if I'm gonna stream it. So it seems to have a lot of potential. If something recreationals, professionals, and viewers like to see, it has potential.
Isn't it cool playing something that's in its infancy? It's so neat, you know? It's
yeah,
like, it's just
exactly.
so cool to like sitting there and playing something new.
It is.
There was kind of this lull, like as being like a no-limit player for years of just kind of, you know, that's stale. Like you never had that. You're sitting in Bobby's room firing it up, but
It's true, but still. Also, like,
I keep that.
learning a new game helps you with all your games.
For sure it does. Yeah, it's poker theory stuff. Super cool.
All right, hold up after that hand, please.
Nick Schulman makes a very interesting point there while we have a showdown here, but nothing really happening. But Nick Schulman makes a really interesting point, is that if you learn a mixed game, it's good for your other games as well.
Illy was in Murder's Row over there.
Yeah.
Like Ivy, Rui.
Yeah.
This is a
Peter
incredibly tough
Jet.
table.
A gentleman.
It's going to be a lot of action there. Rui Kao, of course, one of the most aggressive people. Puffwall having fun, especially in this buy-in, I would say. Waikin Young, with that incredible amount of chips, plays very aggro. Let's go back to that thing that Nick Schulman was saying. There's different games have different things that you need to focus on. For instance, PLO is very interesting, the way you play from the blinds, or the way you can punish people that are out of position. That really teaches you a trick or two for Hold'em as well. Also teaches you a lot about bet sizing. Some pre-flop strategies against short stacks. It's very interesting. Just makes you look at poker games in a new light. So definitely freshens things up. And even if you like to play no limit, that's why this is such a good change of pace, because it's still the same style. Like, you can pull the bet slider all the way to the right. Same rules, just a different approach.
I did a boat trip too in around Seattle, like all those islands kind of off the coast, and looked like right where the border is, kind of.
Yeah.
So nice there.
Oh man, you see any orcas?
I didn't. I don't think it was the right time of year or something.
Yeah.
Saw some deer though. On some
All right.
of those little islands.
Cool. I went to the Keys one year, and there are these. Have you ever heard of key deer? They're like the size of big dogs.
Like in Florida?
Yeah, and they swim in the ocean, and they swim up to you. They're really friendly. They're like dog-sized deer called key deer. It was super cool.
They're like used to humans?
Yeah.
I want one.
Yeah, they're relaxed. Come up and take food out of your hand, of course.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Little friendly deer. Oh, at least clock balls, I guess.
Schulman doing really well. Won a huge pot with a full house with a great value bet against Liao earlier.
We get the orchids now up where I'm from in northern Norway.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
I think.
今日係
Didn't use it and then
今日有
water.
咁啊，我哋將啲籌碼搬晒俾阿老總嗰度，等阿老總聽日發工。
Oh, it's a redraw, guys. Take your back, please. Let me get you some back.
什麼事啊？
Redraw 應該重新抽牌啩，重新排位。
哦，重新抽啊？為什麼啊？
Slick chips. You can make the cool bets.
可以。
Possibly a redraw being discussed.
Call.
If you don't need a rack, you don't have to. The extra don't be going for it.
哎呀，
Oh yeah. Puffwall always good natured. I don't think this table really minds getting broken up.
You're not going far. Darius?
Oh,
We're chip leader here.
Sean?
yeah.
Peter Jensen? Okay, this is your seats now.
One of the most successful
Am I
players
in
in
the
the
same
Asian
seat?
circuits.
Yep.
Rich Young's son, Waikin Young.
Roman, 1-1. Jason Kuhn. Jason Anthony?
That's me. That's my middle name, but I'll take it.
You're
Unknown.
just only 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there, you're 3. Seat 5.
All right, that's the right there, right?
Right there.
Love to
Handy
see
dandy.
5.
Waikin Young at the
Have some
feature
fun,
table.
man.
Marius.
Have some fun. Hurt some feelings.
Table 4, seat 1. You right over there.
Great.
Okay. You straight back to Vegas after this, or
Sochi.
what's it? Is it poker? Really? A Triton?
Yeah.
Wow, back to back. How many of these Triton stops are there going to be?
Just a couple. There's going to be a Mega Montenegro, I think, twice a year now. There's going to be a Montenegro, so actually a few. But yeah, you should come. You should be my Triton friend. Good place to be. Good
Work
things
on the
can
misses. We'll see, you know.
Lives can be changed.
I just see it, dude.
Oh, I need to give you guys my microphone.
Peter. Yep. You, yeah.
I'll strip it in 1 second.
Table
1,
4,
2, 3.
seat 3.
My man. Table 4?
Four,
See you, brother.
3. Right there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They definitely should.
我都想買。
你有冇有掉嚟呢台？
Table 3, seat 6.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Table 3, seat 6.
嚇？真係係咯，又換嚟換去。
Oh, yeah, skip it. Table 2,
呢
seat
台近啊，大佬。
Interesting to see what feature table we're gonna get.
呢台幾近啊？誒，調走最近嗰個先。
I think while we're just gonna cut the sound a little bit while we have a little bit of a mic reshuffle. Don't want people, some people just grab the mic. Headphone users, no bueno. Oh, nice little music here. Get the hips moving. Like I said, it would be fun to see Wyke and Young possibly at the feature table, but a lot of really good players that we can choose from. Look like we're gonna go back to Kowski. Like Schulman staying seated, it's always nice to see.
You know, if the chat requests a player enough, it might actually work. I'm not
Oh
too
God,
sure.
what are you doing to us? Oh no. That's the first thing you say?
First thing I say, yeah. Causing havoc right away.
Yeah.
We hope you guys are enjoying the action here for the Triton Poker Series. It's only going to get bigger and better. Do follow the channel.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to see if it's online, if it goes online. Start a little bit early tomorrow. Earlier.
Yeah, the start time will be 2 hours earlier.
Yeah, so aiming to start at 2:30. That's local time here. That would be, oh God, quick maths, live on Twitch. That would be 10:30 PT, 1:30 a.m. Eastern time, and 7:30 a.m. Central European Summertime. Bang.
Yeah, I think you're right. I have no idea. But yes.
Stop hand-wagoning my amazing skills.
If you follow the channel, it's a lot easier to get notified when it's starting.
And don't worry, the broadcast will be open to see if you missed it, so you can just rewatch the action if you happen to be asleep at that time or working. Oh, Lim Yi, I think we're seeing at the table.
I like Lim Yi.
Yeah, me too. It's the catchphrase, bloody hell. Oh, and oh my God, this looks like a very interesting table. Wyke and Young joining as well.
I just see like Lim Yi just like, he looks like he's looking at just smiling.
Yeah. It's very good natured. A lot of fun to cast him yesterday.
He's a very happy guy. So tomorrow we'll be closing out this tournament, crowning a champion. We will stream until it's over. lot of new faces today. You guys must have saw Phil Ivey. So this is a 100,000 Hong Kong dollar buy-in. It was unlimited re-entries. Some players are just in for one, some players are in for more. Registration is closed now.
Alright, the people want to see Shroud play, so make it happen, Nano. You promised them.
Who do they want to see?
Shroud.
Who's Shroud?
Oh.
Is this a joke? I don't
Oh no, oh my god. You're not making this easy for yourself. Oh no, Nano.
I'll put down my list of things to Google later.
Oh my god. My Twitch heart is burning. Scorpion dance, that doesn't sound bad. This is not hype enough to do Scorpion dance on though. I could maybe whip out a Scorpion dance to the commercial rap. That redrawn to 4 tables. Look at this.
That's a lot of entries.
Yeah. A lot of people coming in. Everybody getting ready. Maybe people taking a few days off after a busy summer. Exciting stuff though.
So if you get eliminated now, you are officially eliminated. And we'll just have to wait for the next tournament.
Action should be starting shortly. Everybody moving stacks, figuring it out.
So I'll give you guys a bit of a rundown what kind of events we'll be featuring this week. After we do tomorrow's final table, the next day, we're doing the final day of the 500k Hong Kong dollar buy-in short deck event, event number 2. So it's 5x the buy-in. Then the day after that, we'll do the final day of the 6max no limit hold'em. So just 2 cards. Oh, I mean, just 2 cards. Why did I say it that way? But that'll be no limit hold'em, 500k Hong Kong dollar buy-in as well. And then we'll have the million Hong Kong dollar buy-in short deck event, event number 4. And then event number 5 will be the main event, no limit hold'em, 2 million Hong Kong dollar buy-in. So Wai Kin Yong is the table chip leader, possibly the chip leader of the tournament. 521 antes. So yesterday's day 1A, the chip leader, Chow, ended with 1.9 million. Sass was in second place with 1.8 million. So Wai Kin Yong is way ahead of pace right now.
Really impressive, especially because he was at a tough table. Phil Ivey, Rui Cao, Paul Foy. I think Key was on there too.
Yeah, Key has made day 2, about 8 to 900k. And I believe the last player was Pogorski, so he's not playing today. Looks like no one wanted to YOLO the biggest stack movement that they made it through day 1A.
Yeah. Did we see somebody with 0 chips?
0 chips. I'm sure
nice
Twitch chat's laughing at that one.
This is where you could have been. All right, so it's gonna be a real pleasure to see him play. Dominant chip lead. Some really effective, aggressive style short deck. I assume we're gonna be seeing.
Jason Williams? He's from where you're from? That dude had serious handles, man. Wow, that's cool. He was awesome.
So we have Lemier. Likes to get in there. Very fun to watch. Lemier calls with the King Jack, one of the first positions. Something we see happen over and over again. I really like it. Middle strong hand. All aboard the Young train.
So Badziakowski won't be able to do any more re-entries. Queen Jack of clubs. He knows.
Super excited.
He knows his opponent is super aggressive.
Yeah.
I think normally for them this would be like a snap kind of want to play for some chips. Right now he's thinking registration is closed as well. But against Yang was making a lot of raises before with weak hands. So that's why he's not folding Queen Jack of clubs.
Queen Jack, very strong hand if your opponent is playing a little bit loose. It's dominated in this case though. Shulman can put a serious dent in Yang's stack, but he's dominated here.
So Shulman of ace-10. He's getting good odds, but his hand is not a great one to play multi-way. So he's going to lay it down.
Good folds. That should be all she wrote, unless Young checks it here. Very interested to see what he does. I was so impressed with his play. I learned a lot from watching him. Also, what the possibilities are with playing aggressive. He also played very smartly post-flop. Got himself out of some tougher spots, pot controlled here and there.
Well, look at this. This small bet on the flop has gotten Badziakowski to float the flop with just Queen Jack high.
Yeah.
So sizing is perfect.
It'd be really cool to see. Probably he's going to go for a check now, huh?
I like to check. I mean, the small bet was to try to get your opponents to make some floats. Betting doesn't really do too much. Just makes your opponent just folds these types of hands.
Yeah. Also, if you check ones, you might get some hero call by pocket tens or jacks on the river.
But it looks like he's going to shove.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he's reading. He just probably didn't actually read Badziakowski to have too many floats. But I think I would have liked it if he kind of gave Badziakowski a little bit of rope. There's not too much he's worried about. But I think he had a different plan at hand. But he still wins a decent amount on the flop.
It's a really tough spot also to hero call there. It's a classic poker thing. When you hear shouts in the room, everybody kind of peeks their ears and thinks what's going on over there. Chin Wei here.
So we saw Chin Wei in Montenegro. It's back in Jeju now. Don't think he had too great of results over there, but trying to prove himself this series.
Badziakowski seems to limp really wide in the cutoff. I mean, King 8, I guess you get such insane odds.
Yeah, he's not really excited to play the hand, but he just needs one player to just check the button, and he gets a free flop.
Yeah, he gets 10 to 1 as well, or 9 to 1. It's called 6K to battle for 54,000.
So everyone has checked around. Chin Wei with the best draw. Turns top pair. He checks again. Playing a bit cautiously. Doesn't want to get blown off of his hand.
I like it.
Yeah, it's very tough to bet into players on this board texture. A lot of people have a piece that just won't fold to a turn bet. Badziakowski, though, he's going to take a stab here. He's got a double gutter. He Probably thinks because multiple players in front of him have checked, do not have strong hands because they would always want to bet on such a drawy board. It's not going to shake Chin Wei though.
Really like the way Chin Wei is playing this. We see people getting in trouble a lot when they build a pot with top pair on rivers. You know, river be like an ace or, you know, another 10, and then all of a sudden you're in kind of a trouble spot.
The river is an ace. It's going to be a tricky card for him. See if Badziakowski wants to bluff. If Badziakowski wants to bluff, this is a great card because you kind of expect your opponent to raise with King Jack on the turn or bet it himself, so you don't really put your opponent on a straight. The ace doesn't really improve your opponent too much. What, like Ace Queen?
Yeah, it's
that
very
didn't
unlikely.
bet, right?
Yeah, it didn't bet, and also like Ace Queen is such a tough hand to just start calling with.
It doesn't make too many two-pair hands either, because most players won't check call you on a turn with Ace 9 and Ace 7. Ace 10, they might even pitch that.
Yeah.
So I think Badziakowski can really put a lot of pressure here, just knowing his opponent usually has one pair.
70.
That's a nice bet right there.
I like it, yeah.
Now from Chin Wei's point of view, he needs to think, what hands do my opponent have that's for value, given the way it's been played? I say a hand like Queen 10. It's very likely.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because, you know, you can go through the motions and then, you know, for all the reasons that you just mentioned, know that it's very unlikely somebody has a better two pair. But you can't also bet big because it's still a scare card in a way.
Looks like he folds the
Great
best
bet.
hand. Badziakowski showing you why he's one of the best in the game.
That was really smart. I love that we heard like somebody scream rebuy in the back during that hand.
So outer table action. We got Rui Kel, Ben Lam, Paul Foy. I always like Paul Foy. He's always laughing.
Yeah, I like it too. I really like watching it whenever he's on the table.
He's always very chatty too. So looks like him and Rui Cal gonna be all in. Jack 9 suited and Ace King. Or Jack 10 suited possibly.
I what? You want to switch hands?
Hold.
Wait. Yes. Yes. Why am I gonna win? Because you say, yeah, why do you prefer it?
Jack 10 suited is the nuts.
Yeah, it is the nuts indeed.
I mean, those guys play with each other so much. That's why they're just laughing, despite like losing lots of chips.
Ah, it's you again.
Got a new player sitting down, Jason Kuhn. He was a big short deck tournament winner in last series event, shipping the $1 million Hong Kong dollar buy-in. Back to the action, Lim Yi, 8-6 offsuit.
No problem.
This hand is not good, but he's
Wow.
just punishing these limpers.
Got rid of King Queen. That's definitely one you need to show.
Yeah. Nah, he wants to keep doing it. He's not going to show. You got 30 minutes.
How was the game yesterday night?
It was great.
Back at the table. Different seat.
It's mine, right?
Oh, yeah. We're at 8.
We are 8.
Jason Kuhn is definitely one of the best in the game, and he definitely put a lot of work into his short deck. I thought he was one of the strongest players in Montenegro.
Another King High hand for Nick Schulman.
The King 10s.
Yeah, the King
Those are the
10s,
hands.
man.
So it looks like a couple limps so far. Limb with King Jack suited.
Can win half his stack if he can pick this up pre-flop. Seems like a pretty good spot.
Yeah, he's thinking about it.
Chinwei limb.
He's just gonna check. Just a little bit afraid that someone might actually slow play a hand.
That game is crazy, man. Just so short, you know. You're just all in everything.
Very fast, huh?
Yeah, so fast.
A lot of aggression.
Yeah.
I love Lemieux.
Alright, so it looks like Yang has flopped the best unless Lemieux's got a silent monster.
I remember he sat down and what happened?
It's so nice to take those down.
Yeah, actually I think Yang, he doesn't really want action because he doesn't really know what card is a good card.
Yeah. It seems like it's a semi-bluff almost.
Yeah. It's kind of like,
Right,
I've got the best hand probably,
yeah.
but
At
please
one
all
point we
fold.
were, but the buy-in last night was very shallow. It was crazy.
Shallower than this?
Here's some of the outer table players.
No, but close.
It's like
Actually,
Ivan
yeah,
Leo got back in.
Could have been, yeah.
No, it's 5 times more.
This is, yeah. It was nuts. It was absolutely insane.
Tom Dwan.
Look at that.
Everyone's favorite guy.
Heads were spinning.
He's in this tournament.
In the game. Good to see them. Really good to see Tom too.
Yeah, both.
Can always count on Tom Dwan and Ivy in these Triton series. Good reason to follow the channel so you never miss any of their action.
Good move.
That's a really good start for you. Yeah.
So please, guys, go ahead and tweet to Triton Poker on Twitter. Let them know who you want to see on the feature table.
Wow,
They'll try their
Watkins
best to
already
make
won
it
the
happen for you guys. So it looks like Tom Dwan is involved in his pot. So Nick Showman's in here too.
Pretty coordinated board there. Rick taking it. Here we see Tom Dwan again. Man, it's really cool to see. It's really ramping up with everybody arriving here. We saw some people walking down the lobby. You see some people at breakfast, and then you see some more people at breakfast. It's always cool to see an event getting warmed up like that. It really is crazy, Spinets. Short deck, so much action.
Gimbal, gimbal.
I mean, you had a decision here. Graphics will be back shortly, guys.
Let's go.
All right, so Jason Kuhn is all in.
Let's
Kinda
go.
Join the action.
Big
There is the
hand.
graphic. So Jason Kuhn has the lower end of straight draw and a flush draw. Ace would make him straight. Lim Yi has
he's got
not a whole lot of
the
chance.
current best hand though. He's got the current best hand.
That's actually wow. He has 33% still.
No way.
He's got a 1% edge on his opponents.
Ace of spades, ace of diamonds. I don't even think I'm making the flush.
Turn is a jack.
Yeah.
That is a nut straight for Yang.
Heart.
River is a queen.
Come on.
Yang's going to.
Why can?
I think we both lose.
Slaughtering. This is a big pot.
Okay.
Bloody hell! I told you.
Contributions to Triton.
GG for Lim Yi and Kuhn.
Wow.
They were. It was a exact three-way coin flip, if that's a thing. 33% for everyone.
Just sit out, you know, till the end of the day.
Very, very big hand.
But how fun is that?
Yeah.
Like you see a hand like Jack 8, and I automatically thought, wow, okay, it's just toast, but it really isn't.
Well, Lim Yi, he's always
Are
laughing.
we getting more players?
I love it.
Can we wait?
It's White Kin Yang, 3.3 million chips after that big one. Registration is closed.
Let's go, let's go.
Registration is closed indeed. So we're gonna duke it out between these guys to see who makes it to day 2. We have 4 players emerging, a little bit of a smaller field yesterday. We have 14 players, 5 re-entries, of course, the first day.
Easier.
We got Lim all in here. But ace queen. Wow. Young trying to take souls here at the table. Wow.
So ace on the flop, pocket kings in trouble. 17% to hit one of 2 remaining kings. Turns a club. A lot of outs, 25% chance. Yang doesn't get there, so Chin Wei is going to double up. I was going to say this guy's on a sick heater all of a sudden. Just kidding.
Yeah. What a stack. So the yellow ones are 1K, the orange ones are 5,000, worth 5,000, and then the blue-black ones are 25,000.
That's right.
Steven Chippick been relatively quiet, but we know he doesn't shy away from play. It's just running a little bit bad. Not getting the starting hands he wants.
Chin Wei's under the gun, ace queen offsuit. Ante is 8,000, 16,000.
I kind of like the feel of just raising ace queen here. It doesn't necessarily feel strong enough to limp raise all in.
Yeah, I think if you're not planning on limp shoving all in, I like just open raising.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
If I have an intention of limp shoving, then I like limping ace queen. But I think you should look at your stack size. If you have too many chips for your comfort with ace queen, then just open raising seems like a more solid strategy.
Bandland back at the table. Said it a few times, we've been enjoying to see how he adjusts to the game. Picked it up really quick. I don't even think you can really call him like an inexperienced one anymore with the way he adopted his style. Rui Cao.
He just got like some receipts in front of him, you know?
Alright, right, how many times did I read by this time?
Big cards. Big cards, big hand. Hold in.
Hold in.
Yeah, let me work on that.
Rukao immediately all in. Oh my god, for $1 million.
618.
He gets called by you. That is a crazy all in.
He's got what here?
One of 70 antes wagered. You still out front. 58% though. Running hearts, running straight. Wow. The life of Rui Kao, just hurting people left, right, and center. Wow, that's a big pot to lose.
500, 550, 580.
When you play aggressive like that, it's gonna work out a few times here and there. Obviously, gonna win a lot of pots uncontested. Rui Kao just, and everybody laughing again.
Thank you.
I like tournaments. Like I won a 500.
Very interesting table. Some really aggressive players. Some smart, tighter players as well.
Okay.
I would count Bachakowski, Steven Chitwick under that. I think Ben Lam is somewhere in the middle. Young and Rui Kao definitely the most aggressive and the two biggest stacks now too. So this is day 1B. After today, both fields from day 1A and 1B are gonna merge. Play our final day tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna be live at 2:30 p.m. local time. That's 10:30 p.m. Pacific time, 1:30 a.m. Eastern time, and 7:30 a.m. in the morning Central European summertime. But like we said earlier, if you want the best way to see the channel is online or going live, press the follow button in the top. It's gonna be much more Triton action, more tournament series. We have still about 8 days of broadcast ahead of us. 255k main event at the end of it to top it all off. So, always good to use time zone calculators. Should be pretty easy to find. If you want to know exactly when you look at a schedule. Younger with only flush draw. 3 clubs out on the flop. He has a pair as well. Kind of hard for him to assume that he has that, so gonna take it pretty easy. Everybody checks, so we see 5 people going to the turn. And past broadcasts are available, so if you do want to catch up on some action or something that you possibly could have missed, just click on the video section when you're in the Triton Poker Twitch channel. You can watch the whole thing.
So Young is the one with the clubs.
Flush. Yep.
Yep.
It's hard to get called by worse when you have the Jack of Clubs because the only card is the 8 of clubs and what, 6 of clubs. So who plays 6 in their hand?
Yeah.
So I do like that he just kept checking it. Better off trying to bluff catch rather than try to get value from worse.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, flushes beats full houses. That's why you won't see any crazy bluffs there with trip 7s on the river.
Only 2 Triton, right? Mostly ports poker. Yep.
Rui Cal, 1.2 million chips. He did really well last series.
How big are the Triton tournaments?
1500 and 100. 1500 USD. Okay.
Ben Lamb's been struggling a bit. Still has a chance.
10K high roller, 5K main event.
Oh, okay. So it's the same as like Barcelona.
Yeah.
And I'm possibly going for a limp raise here.
A lot of marginal hands for everyone right now.
Yeah.
Should see a free flop.
Wow, what a flop.
That is a full house for Rui Cal.
Rui Cal coming in like a storm here.
Best position too. So everyone has checked to him. Looks like Rui trying to bet, hoping someone has a piece, but everyone's going to lay it down.
If anybody can get away with betting this and hoping somebody won't believe him, it's Rui Cal.
Yeah, that guy likes to bluff.
Oh my god. Big stack of chips.
Thank you.
Might see some fireworks between him and Young. I don't think that either of them are gonna step away from that.
Yeah, you know, some tournaments, the big stacks kind of stay away from each other. This one, they're probably just like, oh, we can make a bigger stack? Let's combine them.
Ah, there you are. So the outer table action here, we see Tom Dwan. Like we said, just arrived. Didn't even take a jacket off.
Looks like he's involved in a pot here. Ivan's in the pot. He's gonna lay that one down. He's looking around. It's like, well, if I bust this tournament, where am I gonna go play next? It's like Torbergson got moved to this table. Let's see. Alan Sass standing there, observing.
Alan Sass making it today too with a very healthy 1.8 million stack.
It's an all-in on a board of King, Queen, 7, Jack. Looks like that hand's over.
Leo never hits that. Queen Jack.
Yeah.
That's a pair of 7s max.
I just love seeing Ivan Leo with some chips.
238.
Back to our feature table. Bazikowski's all in with pocket jacks. Looks like he's doubled up. Or maybe, yeah, looks like he just wants some chips. There you go.
Really nice hand for him there. Pair of aces and a straight draw on the turn for Young.
And Bazikowski's been struggling. He really needs that double. Because all I remember him saying before was, rebuy, rebuy.
Oh, nice, rebuy. Yeah, he was so happy about that.
Some action on Bazikowski. Jack 9 of clubs under the gun. I expect him to try and see a flop the way that he's been playing.
Yeah, it's a decent hand to limp.
When you're under the gun, you have so many players behind you who could pick up a hand, so you don't really want to like raise and get blown off of your hand too often. No, he just folds. He's just like, nah, I'm too early position.
Look to your left, you see Rui Cowers, like, all right.
See Lim here, 9-8 suited. He's going to try to see a flop.
Very comparable hands.
Yeah, this is maybe why you should be folding. Rui Cowers just ace-6 of clubs. It's okay, 100K.
Yeah, 100,000s.
He's going to lay down a 9-8 suited. Rui Cow just making it really big pre-flop to shut his opponents out. Because actually ace-6 of clubs plays pretty poorly post-flop. So if you can just take it down pre-flop, it's preferred.
Yeah.
Because even if you flop up an ace, you don't really know if you're ahead. Like, you need like clubs or 2 pair to feel really good.
Yeah, that 6 really hurts you. I mean, it is connected in a way, but
a little bit, yeah.
I mean, there's not an ace you can't flop a straight with, so it doesn't really matter.
True. I'm always a fan of watching Rui Cow plays because he's extra aggressive compared to everyone else, so he finds a lot of ways to win pots that most of the other players might not even consider.
Yeah.
Chidwick's all in with pocket 10s. He hasn't been doing too well today. Really needs this pot. But he's going to get all in with Wai Kin Yong.
That many. Can't imagine, but Tsiolkovsky gonna call here.
Yeah, he's probably gonna fold. Just likes to make sure.
Yeah, likes to think everything through for a second.
All right, so we got a coin flip here. Chidwick really needs this one. He's gonna be eliminated.
That's a nice start.
We haven't seen too many sets. That's pretty much a hammer lock.
Good finish.
And that hand's over.
230.
Quads.
Yeah, it's just quads. 234, right?
234, yep.
Just quads.
Just quads.
Button moved.
Good to see. Chidwick. Textbook pro. Takes every loss in strides. Jokes around about it. Shows up the next day. Buys in. Enjoys the game a little bit more.
Next hand, blinds will be up.
I believe that will be the last level.
Should be the last level. And you know what happens on the last level? Actually, the last 5 hands.
Everybody goes crazy.
So Lamb's going to play his Queen Jack of Hearts. pocket jacks for Yang. He's checking out his opponent's stacks, trying to decide, maybe I can just shove all in. He does shove all in. He's playing to equity. By shoving all in, you actually make your opponents fold a lot of hands that have good equity against you. Hands like king, queen, ace, queen. You know, he's just very confident in his plays. You know he's a very experienced player. For some people, they might get dealt pocket jacks like, okay, what's the best play? I'm not quite sure. But Yang's decided shoving is the best.
I think in those situations, you know, experience really plays a big part, because if you've raised jack slot and normally you got called or you limped them, you just feel like every time I get into this really awkward spot. So they just give me the antes.
It's really hard to play jacks post flop in short deck because it's always overcards.
Yeah.
Or even if it's like 10-8, 6, you're not like, woohoo, let me get all my chips in.
Exactly, yeah. That doesn't seem to be a real good flop, but it has pretty good hot and cold equity. Hot and cold equity, of course, the value of a hand when you just go all in against something.
So Rui Cao opening up the ace-jack offsuit. Should pick up blinds and antes here against his opponents.
Really making it work.
Blinds are 10,000, 20,000. Again, registration is closed. We will combine all the remaining players from day 1B today's stream with yesterday's 4 players that went through and crown champion tomorrow, 2 hours earlier for the start time. Ben Lamb, ace king. You know, some players have just been open shipping this. Some players have been limp shoving. Any predictions on this one?
I think that he's just gonna go for raise. I mean, I wouldn't really. I mean, it's a really big move with people like Yang behind you and Rui Cao. I would love to give them some room, you know, to push you out.
Okay.
That's a good point you made. That let's look at the opponents behind me. Are they the type to punish limps? If they are, then I think limp shoving becomes a lot nicer play because you pick up some more dead chips. Of course, going all in, there's never really a problem with that. But Lamb's gone all in. Maybe more taking an approach, I can shut out my opponent from calling my shove.
Yeah.
With like jacks or 10s, they probably wouldn't call an open shove this large. So there's pros and cons to both limp shoving and open shoving.
Yeah.
Which one's the exact best play is actually quite hard to actually know.
Yeah.
And that's going to come with a lot of experience.
Knows.
No one knows.
Nobody knows.
I just know that open folding is the worst play you can make.
Yeah, we can definitely take that one out of rotation.
All right, so all in from
go.
Badziakowski. What has he got?
It's queen of spades. I'm calling it.
There's no way. There's no way. No. You can have my bankroll if he's got ace queen of spades.
That looks like a pair, doesn't it?
You almost got my bankroll. I was a little sweating that. I think that's pocket queens, probably.
I'm so bad at looking at what paint it is.
Good thing you didn't say 5-4 suited. Do you see what I did there?
Oh my god.
No, it's not.
Alright, so it's pocket jacks.
Oh, fuck.
That was a very big call, pocket jacks.
That's better.
That is a big call.
No.
8.
Game. You're good.
Wow, GG Badziakowski.
Yeah, Badziakowski's been eliminated there. Pocket jacks. That was a very big call. Some players might actually fold the jacks here. But I guess he read into Lamb wouldn't open shove aces, kings, and queens. Was his read on the situation, so was able to make the call of jacks. But even though he made the right call on short deck, the equities run so close, that's practically an exact coin flip there.
Yeah.
And Badziakowski eliminated on day 1A, eliminated on day 1B. He's going to have to wait for tomorrow's event, for event number 2.
So Ben Lamb with a serious stack now.
And Ben Lamb was struggling a bit yesterday and today, but now he's in contention. So Yong's going with the open raise strategy of ace-jack offsuit under the gun. Some players have been limping this, but with a bigger stack, I like the raising. You can afford to risk your chips, and the reward is great of huge antes and blinds, but Lamb's got ace-king, and they're very deep. This is the deepest we've seen. 100 antes deep, ace-king. Now, usually people just go, I'm all in, it's so much easier to play, but now he's wondering, well, he's just going to ship it.
I kind of like it because what if he makes it like 280 here, and then somebody has Jack 10 suited or something, right? Queen 10, I call.
Yeah.
You know,
So
you really push people off a lot of value there.
I guarantee you Jacks would fold to that shove for
That's
this many
true.
chips.
Yeah,
There's no questions asked.
Yeah, that would be silly.
Even queens would be a really tough call there.
Yeah. So Ben Lamb chipping up nicely. So some big stacks at this table now.
And as you can see, just because a lot of people, some players have so many antes, doesn't mean they're afraid to get it all in still.
Yeah.
Like, they just want to make the best play every single time and chip up. You know, their goal is not, oh, I want to min cash. Their goal is to chip up and try and put themselves in a position to get one of those top spots.
Yeah. The outer table, Tom Dwan all in. That's a good start, he says.
Looks like someone's got ace 10. Looks like Tom doubled up here. Sounded like someone possibly made it. I think Tom might have made a straight, they said. We just know it's easy game for him.
Yeah.
Double up.
It is very interesting because that's why you see a lot of these overshows with ace king. It's one of the most interesting hands, I think. I think it's one of the hands that you can mess up the hardest.
I'll say this. If you think you might mess up post flop, going all in is definitely the superior play.
That's true.
Avoiding mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
And the power of ace king is actually seeing all 5 cards as well. If you only could see 3 cards and you just whiff, you might like get blown off the flop.
Yeah.
How many entries for this one?
42 today, 19 yesterday, 61.
Not bad.
61 total entries.
For sure. Huh? For sure.
It'll be more than that.
Oh, okay.
Looks like
When you guys make a 100K one.
looks like Tom is doubling up
So I can win.
CO here. Easy come, easy go. All of the blue chips are gone. Yeah, Tom is short stacked.
So much action, it's crazy, man. Like, even now, there's absolutely no way of predicting. You know, when you see a really big stack in No Limit Hold'em, of course, anything can happen as well. But
better to learn a bigger one.
I mean, Yang and Lamb could clash right now, and then they just lose like a million chips.
Ace. Get an ace out there. I thought I saw flash. I was mistaken.
So it looks like Lamb has the best hand here. We don't know his other hole card. Yang is the one betting. He's got the kind of like the ugliest piece of the board.
Yeah.
But he's the one firing. He's got the chips. He gets Chidwick to fold his open and a straight draw. Lamb here, he's going to call with his paired tens.
Interesting to see what kicker he has.
Maybe it's like a Jack 10 type hand.
Yeah, it has to be some part of a straight draw in there if you want to really
like
defend.
a King 10.
Mm-hmm.
Turn is a 7. That card usually doesn't hit anyone. Yong's got additional outs. Can make a straight with a 6. They are very deep stacked. So Yang is going to bet again, 85,000. He's trying to put pressure on hands like King 10. Lamb calls again. Lamb actually might not be too familiar with deep stack, short deck, possibly. Most of the time, players have been short. River's a king.
Interesting cards.
Again, we don't know if Lamb has a straight or two pair. He's going to check. So from Yong's point of view, he needs to think, okay, does my opponent have a jack here? If not, I'm going to fire at it. And he is going to fire. He doesn't think Lamb has a jack.
This is that aggressive style that we've been talking about.
He's betting 120,000. He's not betting too big. It does actually look like he has a jack, trying to get value from worse based on his bet sizing. Look at folds, the best hand. Yong
Well played.
playing excellent. Very well-priced bluff too.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw him do that yesterday too. He's very smart about his bet sizings. He really understands when he can credibly represent a strong hand on a dangerous board and then can lower his bet sizing to get away with a cheaper bluff. Very impressive.
Yeah, White King Yong's been so impressive. Look, Tom Dwan is all in again. Looks like Tom Dwan is out of chips. He's been eliminated, unfortunately. He's looking around for another game.
You see it. You see it. Baby daddy hungry.
Yeah.
He can smell some action somewhere, you know?
He's not going to his hotel room. He's going to another game, trust me.
Yeah.
He's going to make a left or a right pretty soon.
Yeah,
oh, that's
there
left.
you go.
Excuse me?
There they are.
Yeah.
Whip the phone out. All right, so that's it for Tom Dwan. She'll be seeing more of him this week. Gonna play most of the events.
Yeah, he'll be playing the big events.
Let me see Chilwick again. But another gun raise. Cards unknown from Kyle.
He's a reshoving on Rui Cal. This is the player you want to reshove on. It's likely to be opening a bit looser. Don't know Rui Cal's hole cards, but seems like he's in a tough spot. Maybe he has a hand like ace queen offsuit. Maybe like pocket tens. Queen jack suited. It's not jack 10 suited though.
Yeah, it's not jack 10. He'd be in there immediately.
Tight fold.
Said tight fold. My read is ace queen.
Tight fold, Rui Cal, jack 6 suited.
King 10 off.
Don't mess with my king 10, dude.
So this is the final level of the day. Then we combine everyone remaining into day 2, the final day. Play down to a champion tomorrow. These are the 2 tables for you guys.
Every pot has about 80,000.
14
chips in it.
of 61 remaining. Yeah, we can't start without microphoning that guy up.
Why is he so quiet? So Lamb, excellent hand to limp call with from early position.
He's playing out of position against the other big stack right now. We'll see if Yong can continue to put that pressure. Both players don't have anything. Whoever fires first will win.
Every time I see Yong possibly betting right now, I'm really intrigued to see what sizing he's going to pick.
It's a nice sizing here. It's not even half of the pot, and he's going to win this pot.
Stab, stab, stab.
I'm learning. I thought, like, I've seen trends where short deck, people bet, like, half pot minimum up to 75% usually. But now, I know I can bet a 30% pot.
Yeah, exactly.
Learn from the best.
I saw Jason Kuhn doing that sometimes in Montenegro as well. Go for some really small sizes on like some lockdown boards or like some, you know, ace 7-6, that sort of thing, where a lot of cards can still miss, don't really want to battle for it anymore.
So Romain Arnaud, the new player, a lot of sixes right here. 660,000 chips, 66 antes. He was in Montenegro as well.
As we saw yesterday, so much can happen though. In the last 5 hands, we saw people bust. People with comfortable day 2 stacks going home empty. Alan says, like, launching himself into second.
I've got my popcorn ready for the last 5 hands of the day.
Yeah. You saw who's been underground games or whatever, games in the casino too, when people announce, all right, we're playing 4 more hands. And you know, people would have been grinding for like 15 hours to get up like 8K in a game, and then everything would be like, all right, you want to do a blind all in for 8K? Everybody's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, you work so hard just to free roll the, the blind all in. So 3 big stacks are going at it in this hand. Very different dynamic than we've been seeing in previous tables. Ace, Queen, 9, Rainbow. Young, the one betting as usual. It's about 40,000 chips. Oh, that's a raise. It's a big raise, about 150,000 I believe total, and Young's not going to fold, so this is a huge pot already.
Yeah.
Going into the turn card.
2 big stacks.
It's one of those boards where you don't expect someone to raise the flop too much. The turn's a king.
It's not that much of a blank.
Yeah, it's like a lot of draws. So ace 7 and jack 9. Look at that.
All right, yeah.
Ace 7 bet calls because he knows he's playing against Rui Cao, one of the most aggressive players. Rui Cao checks the turn. I think he's firing here. 250,000 with a bluff.
I think he's trying to represent a hand like ace queen here.
I think he's representing ace queen exactly. Something that was like, oh, I see the king. I'm afraid you got ace king. So I play a check, and now I'm betting. Yang, if he thinks he's beat, it's pretty much ace queen exactly.
Also, Young might think that if Rui Cao had a hand like king jack or king 10, he would have fired the turn again. That would have been an excellent turn card to keep bluffing.
I mean, Yang is smiling. He knows that Rui Cao is up to no good usually, but he looks at his hand. He's like, he really shouldn't be bluffing on this board.
Yeah.
But it's Rui Cao who can bluff on this board. So it's a big leveling game going on right now. So he said you just can't help yourself.
Wow.
Nice call.
Oh my God, what a call.
Yeah.
Laughing.
That is an amazing call.
That is probably the best call we've seen today.
Yeah, best call of the series. Rui Cao just keeps shaking his head. He's like, you only called because I'm Rui Cao.
Yeah.
Everyone else would have folded.
He wants to talk about it so bad. This is where you want to go, really, dude?
They're just both shaking their heads. A lot of players would have folded the flop of ace-7 here. Because they're so deep, you got to worry about turn bets and river bets.
Yeah, especially in this case.
3 more hands.
3 more hands. There we go. Strap on your seatbelts.
That was a good hand we just saw. I like that one. That was a huge pot, actually.
Yeah, that was very impressive by Waikin Young.
So Waikin Young is the chip leader of the tournament. 3.4 million chips.
I said to myself, the tournament is not going to fall too small.
Chinwei Lim has less than starting stack right now. He needs some help in these final 3 hands.
I turn you forward lah.
Here's one of the few hands remaining.
All right, let's see.
Action is on Wei here. He's shoving all in. Rui Cal snap shoves all in practically. So it's ace queen versus king jack offsuit. Snap calls to shove.
Wow.
Some people have been folding this. Rui Cal, nope. So this is actually a really close. I think this is really close in equities because they're not sharing cards. I wouldn't be surprised it's like 46, 47, 48%. I'm not too sure. Both players flop a pair. Cal needs to hit a king or a jack. 25% chance to hit. Turns the king.
Oh my god.
Rui Cal going to Rui Cal. Oh, ace on the river.
This trolls. Wow, that's a rough way to lose it.
272.
Rui Cal just laughing just because like he feels like he's getting a little bit trolled right now. Like these hands shouldn't be running out the way they are.
Yeah. It's such a dagger too. Like when you see that king, you're just like, okay, at least I win this one.
Yeah.
Nine. I do it almost never.
Ah, you do it so often.
Just with 9 jack, I guess. Sometimes, not always.
Wai Kinyon's kind of needling him about the previous hand you just lost a huge amount of chips.
That's the funny thing about playing together so often.
So Rui Cal was saying, oh, I never really bluffed there. Wai Kinyon says you do it too much. Yeah, ace-7 was, that's a really disrespectful call.
Yeah. You definitely get shit on when somebody calls you with ace-7 there. That's why you could just tell that Rui wanted to just talk about the hand. Like, really, you know?
Yeah.
Is this what we've come to?
He doesn't even care about the hand he just lost. He still wants to stuff. You know, Wai Kinyon, you really should have called there. Look, Rui Cal's all in now with 9-7 suited next hand. It's a ton of antes.
Last hand?
Yeah.
Last hand now.
He's trying to make some magic happen these last few hands.
Yeah. He watched yesterday's broadcast and he's like, I can do that. So last hand of day 1B. All the people that survived this one on our last 2 tables will merge with the players. 4 players remaining from yesterday.
So Arnaud limps under the gun of ace-queen. Lim completes as well. Queen-jack suited. Rui Cal. He's got queen-10 offsuit. On pace for a big multi-way pot to end the day.
Very smart limp there by Arnaud, especially with Rui Cal and the, you know, the way he's been playing.
So it looks like we're gonna get a 5-way flop. Only 1-7 remaining for Chidwick to hit a set. It's hard to make a set, I realize, because in this game you're sharing your opponent's cards too much.
Yeah. Yeah, pairs are really trash. Oh, lamb flops the nuts.
Yeah, it's hard to flop a straight of 9-7, but that's the best hand.
He did it. Lim is pretty decent equity. 26% with the gutter, even though there's a 9 out.
So Lim is the one betting with the 2 overcards and a draw to the nuts.
You think that Chidwick might get out of line here? There's no flush draw. Chidwick blocks the nuts in a multi-way pot. Even if somebody calls him with 2 pair or 2 pair or a set, he has.
He could consider it. I think if he had more chips, even better, because you can put a lot more pressure post flop. But Lamb just thinks Lamb thinks someone has a set right now, and he's just trying to get value before scare cards come. If he could see Lim's hand, he would have just called. But of course, you got to worry about you calling and letting all these other guys in, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Call or raise?
Especially in this game.
All in or something like that? Huh? Not all in. It's perfect.
That's
Alright.
not over.
It's over.
So, Wei Young, the definite chip leader of the tournament, going into day 2 tomorrow, which will be the final day of this tournament.
I had the nuts. I had him sweat it though. So sweat this for me.
Yeah, so we're wrapping up here. Wei Young, the chip leader of this Day 1B 100K short deck event. They were combining with the 4 players. Day 1A chip leader having 1.9 million chips, which is Chow. 12 players remaining. We're going to play down to a winner tomorrow and crown that champion. And thank you, Lex, for commentating with me. We're going to have a good tomorrow, a good series, big buying events. And this has been Randy Liu and Lex Veldhouse over in the Jeju Shinhwa world. Triton Super High Roller Series.
Tomorrow the action will continue at 2:30 p.m. local time. That'll be 10:30 p.m. Pacific time, 1:30 a.m. Eastern time, and 7:30 in the morning Central European summertime. Even if you want to catch the action and you cannot watch it because you're in NA and it will be at night, there will be a broadcast available in the channel, an offline broadcast, but you can just pretend it is live. So there's no need to miss any of the action. I hope that most of you are going to join us live. Thank you to you too, Randy, and hope to see you guys tomorrow.
刘已经约了好几次，既然这一次又要被你们放鸽子，借口太多，一次又一次。你们不是忘了就说是有事，济州之行我们真的可以考虑。行程方面没有太多的琐事，趁着年轻应该多看看风景。美好的时光不等人，会很快流逝。我特别想去济州，想炸鸡啤酒。神话世界说走就走，不用考虑太久。赢了送机票，价格 perfect 完美，不仅免签，还有很多优惠。套路烂借口全部都得靠边，这里拥有美食变形金刚各种乐园，济州神话世界等着我们发现，几周后在济州见，别被别人抢先。